9. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hope, Triton, Mana, Wilson, and our special guest from Resolute this week, Mark Square. Thank you so much for joining us. How has your week been, dude?
Thanks for having me. It's been great. It's been really great. I was on vacation, actually, so pretty lazy. Although the first thing I did when I got home was play the Shattered Throne and win. I won. I mean, we won.
We won the Shattered Throne.
Yeah. Yeah. Can anyone hear the word throne without thinking about toilets, though? Because I can't.
The porcelain throne.
I generally think Game of Thrones now.
Yeah, I went Game of Thrones. I went Game of Thrones.
See, I think drum throne because I'm a drummer. So like, you got your drum throne. That's what I think. I don't know. Hope doesn't know what I'm talking about. But...
Why don't I?
So wait, did you go in with a group? Was this your first time doing the Shattered Throne?
It was my third, and actually the first 2 times it was around, it wasn't that I didn't try. It's that my light level was too low. I was too noob. Yeah. So this time, like literally, I couldn't damage enemies the first 2 times around because I was so casual about playing it.
Did that feel cool though? The progression of like not being able to do it, but able to see, what's going on in there, and then slowly being able to like finally do it.
Absolutely, yeah. Because like in a raid, it feels bad to not finish the raid. We've all been there for that. Yeah. But for some reason, where the Shattered Throne or the dungeons weren't really advertised, and like there were no expectations, we like stumbled into it the first week it was available. And I didn't have any expectations about what was going to come out of it, what loot was going to be there. I didn't feel bad about not completing it, and I very studiously did not look up anything about it. So yeah, I loved it.
That was really cool for me too. Whenever I did it, I guess 3 weeks ago, I didn't look up anything. I had no idea what it looked like, and so jumping in there for the first time, I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome!" People hyped it up, of course, and so that led to some expectations. But other than that, it was like really cool going in there for the first time. Hove, how was your week?
It was really good. Last week, even though you weren't here because you've abandoned us for like a month.
I did. It's good. Yeah.
I got just right before the show and right after the show, I got my Redrix and my Lunas. So I've been using those for the last week. And I love
Hats off to you, sir. Hats off.
Congrats.
You're not wearing a hat. But you probably are wearing a hat. Actually,
I'm always wearing a hat.
I know.
All right, I love you.
Love you.
Permanent hat in the avatar.
But it's been good. I've played been getting back into Overwatch a little bit, but playing a lot of Destiny. Like I said, I did get my Lunas. Guess what I did yesterday?
Not Shattered Throne.
No.
Eden Park.
It was your damn idea.
Oh, you streamed. We played comp, and you streamed. We did all these things.
I streamed, man.
The double deuce. Oh my god.
For like 2 whole hours.
It's exhausting, isn't it?
It was awesome though, because all our friends showed up, and
I was thank you to everybody, because I haven't. When was the last time I streamed? Like
forever since the last podcast.
REZOcast? Yeah.
Like not counting REZOcast.
There wasn't even sound.
Not counting REZOcast.
We were immediately up to like 13 viewers. Like everybody that like I know. That's everybody I know was in there.
So many friends.
Everybody was there.
No, it was really
Mom, Dad, thanks for coming.
Mindy was there. It was. I think what he meant to say is that all the hardcore regulars from when he used to stream all showed up instantly at the beginning.
Yes,
that's true.
And nice. It was fun. It was like family showing up.
Except
Triton. Lego said the most he was like, "This is the most family I've felt in Destiny in a long time." He was very. It was cute.
Very adorable. I cried.
I followed it by taking it all back, but I can't remember what I said.
I don't think you would. But I do plan on. It was like once I got set up, I was like, wow, that wasn't nearly as awful setting up as I remember it to be. So I might do that more often.
Yeah.
So yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty good week. This is the most excited I've been for an episode of this podcast in a long time. Just so you know, I'm very excited.
I've been excited every week.
Is it because of me?
You guys?
Yeah, no, I don't give a shit that like Lego, Triton, and Mana are back. It's just because Mark's here. I mean, I hope you guys understand, right?
I just told, yeah, your glory. I just stole it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You stole all the glory,
all the hype.
Oh, speaking of glory, I feel like this is where I could jump in because I maxed out my glory rank and finally got Not Forgotten. So that was
very cool.
Got it yesterday.
Props to you, man. Oh my gosh.
Man, we're gonna do it this weekend.
It's true, and I'm afraid.
Listen,
dude, y'all can totally do it.
Me, Mana, Fate, and Wilson.
That's a pretty great team.
We can do it.
I mean,
I'm
all
gonna
we
get
need is
carried
Fate
hard,
by
dude.
itself. We can probably just hide somewhere, but you know.
I was just talking about this in Hovey's chat today that I was such a better D1 player than I am a D2 player.
No,
And
Really?
fine.
You think so?
110%, dude. The words washed up come to mind when I think about
No.
like that
Oh.
seaweed. Not even
Washed.
like the like the he's making a comeback, he's washed up. No, I'm like that nasty seaweed washed up on the shore that nobody likes.
On the shores of
No.
time.
Yeah, man.
I don't
Do you
believe
get
it.
Are you like a-
like
Are you like a tumbleweed rolling across the ground?
Yeah, man.
Like, what
Mm.
do you think? Like, tumbleweeds, you get the idea, but they're like, they're pretty plain looking. What if it was like a dried up like chrysanthemum rolling across the ground, or
Be
Say
beautiful.
chrysanthemum again. That was
chrysanthemum? Listen, Mark, best word of all time, parallelogram. Say it, you'll love it.
awesome. Oh, I do. I've had a little bit. Parallelogram.
Such a good word, right?
I like
Screwed it
I
up.
like
Screwed it up.
dodecahedron.
Oh, dodecahedron is amazing.
It's up there.
Ooh.
I
What
feel
about
like they're kind of symbiotic.
Triskaidekaphobia.
Oh,
That's-
you're a magic player. I could
You
tell.
made me say that word one time, and it hurt my mind. Like, I'm a simple man. We all know this. I'm not a fucking genius here. I'm not a vocabulary expert. That hurt.
I'll tell you real quick though. I'll tell you one person who is noticeably much better in D2 than they were at D1. Mr. Not Forgotten
me?
over here. Yeah.
I feel much more confident in D2 than I did in D1. I don't know what it is
Really?
about it. Yeah,
You were
but
terrifying in D1, and like you still are in
No, like
D2.
I was a good player, but like when we would have like our
No,
1v1s,
yeah.
like we would like it was pretty
Yeah.
even. I have to talk so much shit just to make myself feel okay when I play against Lego. Because
It
he
was
just
cool. Like,
shits
one
on me.
time, yeah, I remember a specific match where it was just me, you, and Lego, and for once I was doing really good, and then I saw you guys huddling in the corner, and then you guys saw me coming and turned around and just proceeded to gang up on me. Wouldn't let me get the W.
That doesn't feel like something we would do.
Yeah, and I believe the words "Yo, go back to go back, tower life, bitch." Was the
That
words were said.
definitely was not said.
that definitely was not said. I think a part of that though is I play like the scummiest person. Like I'm not afraid to like do whatever it takes to win. That being said, I haven't put on Telesto yet in comp because it's really good. But I stuck with the fusion rifle the whole way through, except for the very end. Getting all my 300 Luna kills was kind of humbling because I went in solo after I made it to 5,500 and just tanked my rank
Really?
down like 700 points just going in solo and getting hand cannon kills. But I got it in like 2 days, so it was fine. But it was just like crazy going in there solo. The difference between having a team and solo is insane.
So you focused on rank first, and then you.
Yeah. I wouldn't suggest it, but what happens is, and I've seen this happen to a lot of people, is you get with a good team and then you stay with them after you get Luna's rank, and then you still want to keep playing because you're on that 5 streak, and then you go like way past the 2100 I think is the points you need to get to for that, and I end up at like 3000, and then it's like, well, I don't want to take off my fusion rifle now. I'm on this win streak and we're going so strong. And then I'm at 4,000, and then it's like, I'm definitely not doing it now, So I just waited till the end.
So
and it
you're
wasn't
saying
bad.
you went undefeated from 2100 to 5500?
No. I'm just saying once you get like past Luna's like rank in any regard, you're just like, well, if you're good at using something else other than Luna's, like in the energy slot, then you don't want to give up that slot. That's not the case for a lot of people. A lot of people use shotguns, so it doesn't really matter.
My problem, because I got ranked for Luna's first, is that I would go in with a mindset of I just want to get whatever kills I needed. But the second I started like maybe it wasn't suited, that hand cannons weren't suited for that map or that team, and I would start losing, and I would get pissed, and I couldn't help but just switch, like, fuck these guys, like putting on this shotgun or this fusion. And that was my problem.
That's what's nice,
Same as
Anna,
me.
about if you don't worry about the kills until after you get the rank, then you just carefree. I'm gonna lose, I don't care, whatever, and maybe my teammates are shooting me in the back
I'm
because they're
still
like
bad at
mad at
that.
me for not performing well, but I'm just carefree, whatever. Mana, how's your week been, man?
Oh, Mana beats Triton.
We
have Wilson somehow.
I don't know how both of us. Hey, Alpha Agent talking, okay? But well, this weekend was interesting. So over the weekend, I had the stomach bug that's been giving me just random poop explosions.
Oh.
And I'm still getting over it. But Friday, well, Saturday, there was a wedding, and I was part of the groomsmen. So I was just fearing for my life.
That's rough.
That day. So Friday, I controlled it a little bit. It was the rehearsal. I made it through the rehearsal, but like afterwards, it was the dinner, and all my buddies were looking at me like, "Tommy, you look like shit, man." Like they actually sent me home that night to get sleep for the next day. So I'm just like, oh wow, I look this bad. Okay, fine, let's go. So I got a good amount of sleep. Woke up, met up at my buddy's place. Everyone was meeting up so we can all get dressed and all that. Went to the wedding. I was feeling good. So, but deep down, I'm just like, I'm feeling too good, and it's not the ceremony yet. Like, hand starts sweating. I'm just like, I really wish it hit me now so I can get it out, you know?
Oh,
But
no.
yeah, dressed in a tux, looking good. All I was missing was a cummerbund around my waist. Unfortunately, didn't have that. So we're getting to the climax of the wedding. I felt the rumble. I felt the rumble in my stomach, dude.
It's not the only climax.
Deep down.
Your stomach was also climaxing.
The deep down. You need to calm down. But it's just like, you know, when like something hits your stomach, you just, you know.
Oh
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, I'm standing there. And everyone was slowly walking out, and I'm just like, go. Like I wasn't, of course, making that motion, but I'm standing there like, go. And then like we walked out, and it just stops. I'm just like, oh. I'm like, what happened? I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm afraid at that point. And actually, nothing happened until later that night when I was just shit faced. So I'm like, I don't know. It was a freak of nature.
So what you're saying is that was the most pointless story of all time.
No, I'm just saying how it almost.
We wanted to hear a poop your pants story.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that was.
I thought
Let me out
whenever
for a
he
couple
said
words
he
I
didn't
wanted to
feel
use.
anything anymore, whenever he was like nothing happened, I thought he was like needed to check himself, and he was like, "Oh wait, something did happen. I just didn't know."
It's a good thing you
we
didn't
all-
have
we all
the
had
cummerbund. It would have just gotten away.
Yeah, I had to wipe my cummerbunds.
Oh man.
Yeah, right. I pooped my cummerbund. Take that.
Was this like the flu?
How explosive was yours that you pooped on your cummerbund?
I don't know. It's
He launched.
Right up the
Right.
front.
Was this like the flu kind of sick, or like you had like tapeworm?
I'm still getting
something,
over
or-
it. Well, I hope not.
Tapeworm?
That, Jesus.
Do you want to tell everyone how you injured your elbow at the end of October, getting prepared?
I
What?
had to get. He called me out on it the moment
I'm
I
interested.
said it the other day too, man. I had to get ready for No Nut November, man.
So the end of
I had to get it
October,
out of my system
end
in
of October, he hurt his elbow.
Swell bow.
I got a bad elbow. I somehow messed up my toe again.
That's
My-
actually something that I feel is really important. How do you
Toast.
guys feel about No Nut November?
Sounds like torture.
I messed up on. For the record, I didn't know about it, and like I coincidentally messed up on day one. So
What does that benefit? I mean,
Nothing.
Like, no
It's
shade- Okay, all right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like
Lego
people
right
on the
now.
internet will know and shame me for it. So
Wilson, how's your week been?
Wow, Triton's dead last.
Yeah,
first of
go
all,
last.
Lego,
Lego-
I just want to say congrats on your but not forgotten. You know that's
Thank
huge.
you.
You said you were gonna sit down and do it. You did it. You did it pretty quick too, man. So GG.
Thanks, dude.
My week's been awesome. I have been on a pub stomp in the Crucible and just quick play. We played a little bit of competitive last night. I played awful, but quick play has been the most laid back, chill, carefree experience. Granted, we've been running really stacked too, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. Like,
Dewey.
we got to play with Mana the other night and Loki and a bunch of other people that we normally play with.
Oh,
And then,
nice.
like what was it, 7 of us were in a party last night just hanging out, even though everybody couldn't play. Like
Yeah, it was
we're all
fun.
just kind of hanging out chatting. It was a good time. Other than that, work season's been slowing down, so that's good. I've had a lot more time to game. I've had a lot more time for Pokemon Go. So we've been getting out there. We've been getting those mons. They've been adding a bunch new lately. I've been hitting the raids, hitting the mons. We got a community day coming up tomorrow. It's gonna be, or I'm sorry, on Saturday. So it's gonna be awesome. And other than that, man, yeah, just been gaming, enjoying the time off, chilling.
Well, my one question for you is, have you still been rocking the bow, or?
100%. Yeah, I love that thing, dude. I can't it. I don't know. Like it's to the point where I'll try to put it down and start sniping again, and I'll just be way more successful with the bow. Like, when I took like a bit of a break from the game because work was so crazy, when I tried to use the bow, I was like, oh my god, I'm awful. Like this is bad again. Like I was missing my shots, and now like I've got that like just flinch flick timing for my bow, and I love those hunter gloves that I can just like I guess it's not really like hard scoping per se. You're just kind of holding that bowstring back and putting Icarus. I've said this before, just putting Icarus on the bow and using that hunter verticality. Same thing with the sidearm, dude. I'm finding like just hanging out in certain areas, like just camping certain areas by a doorway, and people just come running through and jumping in the air, like they just can't look up. A lot of times I don't know what it is, but lately like I can't help but just be in the air constantly. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but lately I've just been trying this new thing of just like always be above people, and it's
just been getting real high.
I was just saying, is this like
it's been getting real high, man?
Is this like a metaphor?
I'm lifted, dog.
Dude, that is Hunter's greatest strength, though, for real.
I love it, dude. I feel like my throwing knives are way more accurate in the air. Like if I'm coming down, like if I'm, bringing down the hammer on someone, the throwing knives.
Dude, you know what is a great map for using bows? This is the one map that I'm like, okay, time to use a bow. Is that new one that looks like the Trials of the Nine map that's all white? It's like,
what the heck is that thing called? We always complain about
Conveyance or something? I can't remember.
No, I know. It's the new
Equinox.
It was kind of like the
Equinox.
White, Equinox. Boom.
Dude, every time people start pulling out snipers, and I'm like, I'm just gonna use a bow, and it's just so snappy, and it snaps to the target every time. So I love that map for that.
Has anyone
I know people hate on
targeting
that
adjuster
map.
on bows yet? Is that even a thing? You wouldn't be able to aim.
Yeah,
targeting adjuster on a bow. Like, that would be
Okay.
insane.
Targeting adjuster plus the like enhanced target acquisition on the armor for bows.
Yeah.
On the legs, I think.
Dude, they're already so sticky, dude.
I know.
Like, I don't have any bow bonuses
icky.
on. Yeah, dude. Like, ooh wee. But they, I don't even have any like bow bonuses on my armor. Like, I run all hand cannon stuff.
Like Jack Reacher.
Yeah, dude. They're naughty, man. I'd like to see I don't know if I'd like to see a little bit more performance about them. Actually, they're pretty good where they're at, to be honest. But
nice.
I want to try new weapons. I want to try that Telesto out, dude. Sam, my lady, uses Telesto exclusively, and I love it, dude. It's great.
Dude, she's been rocking Telesto hard too.
Yeah, dude. She's like way better at the game than I am now.
Is it weird that I have no problems with Telesto, given the fact that I haven't played in a while, but back then it was also running kind of rampant. But it's just like I haven't really ran into a lot of people using Telesto, and since I'm a big fan of a rental, I usually just blast them away anyways. Like,
see, I normally do, but if a lot of times Telesto is like a trade machine, and so times that even if you get the shot off, they still trade with you, and you're like, God, I didn't, nah.
I'm sorry, what do you like?
I don't know.
He wants to see that.
The biggest annoyance for me is when people paste it on heavy ammo, and I'm like, is that ours? Is
Oh,
that
that's so
yours?
smart though.
Am I colorblind? Is that ours? Like, what's
that's
going
the thing
on?
that gets me the most. Like, I seem to die by just the pop rocks being placed in random places. I just I won't be looking around like the walls and stuff. I'd be looking for a target, and I just walk over it. I'll just willingly walk over it, or like rub against the wall, and it's on there. I'm just like, how did I not notice it? Like,
Yeah, you come running around the corner, and there's a bunch of like little candied yams laying around. Like, that are,
and if both teams are using it, then you're like, wait, are those my little purple orbs on the ground, or is it theirs? I don't know.
Yeah, they need to do something about the like being able to tell the difference between friendly or foe. Maybe they do, and I'm just blind, like I said.
I don't think so.
I've been saying this for a while. I mean, I know there's
think
like
there's a
subtle
difference.
differences in grenades, but it's not enough for me, especially when you're in the action. It's like I kind of wish there was just like maybe like a filter you can turn on. Like it's not the default, but a filter you can turn on where like teammates are the normal color and maybe like enemies like have like a red tint or something
Or
like
just,
that. You know,
make like friendly energy green, and then
Green,
just,
that's
or
enemy-
like vice versa, like teammates.
enemy
like,
energy
green or
can
blue
be
or
this-
something. You know.
it could be the same. It could be solar, void,
Yeah.
arc, but I don't need to see my teammates solar, void, and
Mhm.
arc. You know what I mean? So
Right.
just make it like a flat line. I don't know. Some people probably really hate that, or at least
Nah, I
an
think that'd be
option
cool.
for it. I'm
I
okay
think
with
if
that
it-
because
as
I'm
long as
getting
it's like an
old.
option, you right? Like as long as it's like an option you can turn on, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted it.
Well, you heard me yell Triton's name earlier. That was just to wake him up. But Triton, how's your week been going?
Week's been going pretty good, actually. I've had a lot. I think a lot. I'm trying to think. I actually almost wrote down all the things I did in Destiny over the last week because
Oh,
I've
so
done more
many.
things probably in this 1 week than I've done. I guess since Forsaken came out. So I've got 2 raids in, which is pretty rare for me even to get. I think I've only did the raids in D2 like maybe once or twice each. So to get 2 Last Wish clears was pretty awesome. Got a couple people there first time after I did mine.
Nice.
So that was really cool. Shout out to some of the guys from Sin City who Syntax 7 was a guest for us previously, but those guys were really awesome raid trippers. Was able to get that done. Actually soloed that triple question mark mission between the Shattered Throne and then going back to do it again to get Wish Ender. And I never usually push myself to do kind of a lot of like solo, I guess, end game PvE content. It just seems like something I'd rather do with a friend or a couple people because you can at least chat while you're getting it done or whatever. But I ended up doing that and actually really felt good about getting that done. I only died like twice. I don't know if there was any kind of like secrets in there or lore, but I was just looking to get it done because a friend's going to help me do the Shattered Throne to get Wish Ender, I think Monday. So I really wanted to at least not have that be on the docket. Grinded a fair amount of Gambit with the Triple Infamy. Got my reset done. Started the Lunas and the Redrix portion where you have to do competitive games. So I actually did a couple Rumble games, which I almost never do. Did a couple comp games, which I almost never do. Some with you guys, and then just doing some quick play. So even though it's been a pretty rough month for me for Crucible, it's been a pretty good time playing the game. And yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of everything.
Dude, congrats on the solo Shattered Throne thing. Like, I feel like that's an accomplishment because just going in there with 3 people, like, I haven't tried it solo yet, but just going in there with 3 people, I felt like, oh man, this is actually difficult, you know? And to hear you soloed it, I was like, oh dang, that's impressive. Like, I'm kind of scared to go in there and try it because it was so difficult for my just 3 people to do it.
Well, it wasn't the Shattered Throne. I did that with 3 people. It was that mission between and like Four-Horn Gulch on the thing. Which
cool.
It was difficult at the end,
yeah.
but it wasn't quite. I mean, no, the Shattered Throne. I think I got that done. Like the last time it was up, the curse was up, so week 6.
Gotcha.
And that was pretty rough,
same.
actually. I think I was, even though I was at pretty much max light, I think I was mostly like just like a revive guy or die, and then just sit there while everyone else did something. So I was happy to do the triple question mark thing though. Like, I think that was neat. Definitely still challenging, but it was. I don't think it was as bad as a Shattered Throne. So
do you think you're gonna try to do Shattered Throne solo, or any of y'all gonna try to do?
Maybe
I'm gonna try
eventually,
it.
yeah.
If I hit max light,
Yeah.
I'm still not there. 580 or something.
I
It's
mean,
kind of like that.
I'm at 548 max light. So
Are you serious, man? That's still
Yeah.
548.
Wow.
Dang.
I-
It seems like a lot of
played-
work.
I played D2. Let's see, twice. Maybe only a handful of times since like the expansion came out just in September 4th because I just been so busy with my job and then moving and then unpacking. It's just been crazy. You know,
I'd
recently.
imagine. I want to get to know Mark Square more and start asking him some questions since he's his first time guest on the show. But before I do, I wanted to. I don't know why Hove gave me a concerned face and then he started grinning when I said, but before we do, like, he like knows what I'm going to go to, but you don't know Hove. You don't,
Okay.
because I'm not going to talk about what you think I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about, I wanted to just hit real quick, how, because I think it was Triton talking, or Mana talking about his light level and how I think the only reason I'm at a higher light level now, like I reached max, but the even being in comp so much is because I keep doing the daily stuff that gives you the milestone like kind of gear. Or prime engrams and stuff, but the reason why is because I want new exotics and I can't get any, and I wanted to ask who got new stuff and what you've been enjoying, because I got in the past 3 weeks that I haven't been on the show, I got One-Eyed Mask for Titan, which is the sickest exotic.
By sickest, you mean stupidest.
Yes, it's so good, and it's particularly for Rumble. It is disgusting because you're so many one-on-one fights and you win it. It regenerates your health and then gives you an overshield.
Yeah.
So it plus you target people. There was a time where someone shot at me and they ran across the screen like down a hallway, and I just followed them with my sniper rifle, and they came around the corner and headshot him immediately, and I was like, this is dumb. And I got an overshield now. But so that is disgusting. But also I got Two-Tailed Fox. Like Hove got didn't you get that, Hove?
I've been had that.
Dude. It is the ultimate Gambit, the ultimate Gambit power weapon. Because you just aim at them, like shoot up, and they just like dive bomb down on them wherever they are in the map.
You
especially
saw that
from far away.
tweet from somebody.
No, I did it. Like I took it. That was the first thing I did. I went in Gambit and just like got four kills immediately invading. It was amazing.
Wow. I did get Lord of Wolves.
Ooh.
Have you like so?
I got it, but I haven't really used it yet. That's the only other weapon I've got.
It's weird. I'm not gonna say it's bugged. I'm not, elite enough to know whether it's bugged or not. But do you remember the old, like in D1, you could take Lord of Wolves and you could kind of like spray it across. Like you could shoot. This one, no. Like once you start firing it, it kicks straight up, and it locks your side to side aiming. Which it's really bizarre. It's a weird feeling. It's almost like it doesn't fit with the way that I want to use it at all. Because so I find it, I'm just frustrated. I'm like, why am I frustrated? And then I kind of like locked it in. It's that like, so as soon as you go to fire it, it's just like up. Can't sweep it across.
Wait till you get Wave Splitter. You'll be doing that all the time.
Oh my god! Did you get that Triton?
2 seconds. No, I happened to play against it in Crucible and was just getting like, I don't know. I didn't play the Prometheus Lens laser tag trials or whatever that 1 week was. But it felt like that. Like you just look at a guy with it and you were like insta dead. I watched TV play against a couple guys doing it in stream too, and it was like basically the same thing. It's pretty rough.
I did get
since they changed the exotic thing where you're supposed to get less repeat old exotics. Let's see. I did get some exotics. I got Vigilance Wing. Oh wait, that's an old one. And then I got what was Stompies. Wait, that's an old one too. Nope, nothing new.
That sucks,
dude. That happened to me because I realized that like there's so few exotics I ever bothered getting on my Warlock and Titan that, to Lego's point, like the daily adventure, daily strike, or whatever comes up is giving me exotics, but I got like the whatever the wave gauntlets were for the Titan. I think it was from Curse of Osiris. I'm not even sure. It makes like your fusion grenades a little bit stickier or something. I got that and I was like, ugh. Then I got like Starfire Protocol for the Warlock. I was like, great. I did get the Warlock or the Titan gauntlets that are like look like a bear claw or something. They're new for
like the
pastry.
Furiosa?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I got those. I haven't really used those. I did get those though.
Good.
And then I got like Mechanier's trick sleeves, which I already had. But so those are my 4 exotics this week.
You get so many exotic drops, right? Jeez.
I have I think 9 Forsaken. I think I'm at like
that's
15
insane.
Since Forsaken's dropped. Like not unique to Forsaken, but just
dude, those are good odds. What the heck?
Sheesh.
Honestly,
you should go buy a lottery ticket.
You really should.
I don't know if it's like the best. I still think like River and even Chibi got like the way more than I have.
Jeez. Yeah, I saw Loki complaining about Rivers. Extremely good.
And they played roughly the same amount, right? Like, so I with all these people that get all these exotics, I'm like, well, you probably play more hours than me, but that's not necessarily true.
No.
I have a friend that gets everything all the time, and he sits in orbit. Like, how usually it'll kick you out of the game? He'll be in orbit for days. I don't know what's going on with his internet. But then when he goes to play, his play time is off the charts. Like, it's like, poor guy, he's been playing for 15 hours straight and he's got no exotic or whatever. And he'll just play something and get something all the time. So I don't know what is happening. Maybe he's got like his joystick rubber banded.
Oh, yeah.
We don't use joysticks. Whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Hove, did you say you got sword?
I did. I got the Black Talon yesterday.
Ooh.
Oh
Nice.
man, that thing
Random.
looks really fun.
That and the Two-Tailed Fox were just like the end of Crucible games. I just got them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's my favorite way to get stuff.
I wish I could get more like that.
Well, man,
the
if you
Black
played with us
Talon-
more.
The Black Talon might be my only. I think it's my only exotic weapon that I got so far out of away from the quest weapons.
Yeah.
So the RNG based, it's Black Talon, which I was actually using a couple days ago when I was playing with Hope Wolves and all that. It's kind of fun, but I wish it was buff. Honestly, it has so much potential to be great. It's like you don't have a lot of ammo for it.
Didn't they buff sword ammo in the last patch? Am I making that up? I feel like
Probably.
they buffed something.
Was it
Yeah.
Was it for Crucible too?
Yeah. I
Just
thought so.
When you pick up a brick, I think it's double now what it was. Like it used to be 6, and now you get 12 or something. I know it's
Then
for
it was even
Gambit.
less.
Thing I monitor. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the one
that
that
should be
wishes
good.
that swords had more lunge, like in D1.
Yes, that
I
too.
get screwed so much, man, because I'm like, this guy comes around the corner, and I'm like, oh, you done messed up now, boy, and I swing too early, and he just shits on me. Takes my ammo. Tells his friends.
Makes a Facebook post.
We really appreciate you, Mark, coming onto the podcast, and
Thanks for having me.
we would like to get to know you a little bit. Hove, why are you giving me that look again? What is it that you want from me?
I'm really excited about. Before we get to that real quick to segue here, since there's a lot of talk in chat about who the Alpha Asian is.
Oh,
There's
Where's
actually,
this going?
to be
We're
fair,
at
there's
Lego.
actually been
Over
some.
Lego.
There's been some calls for Lego to be the Alpha Asian.
Yeah, that's where we're at with that in chat.
Yeah.
What?
oh my
We're-
god.
But I just wanted to read. We got a really
confirm.
good iTunes review this week that I wanted to read because it is one of the most spot on things I've ever read in my life.
Oh.
It's like the last one you shared.
It's titled "Only 47 Reviews, Travesty," and it's by Tommy's Turn. And this is where I was like, oh, that's really nice. Let's see what this says. And it says, "You guys deserve better. Also, you could be better." And at that point, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Then I kept reading, and he said, try, I don't know, letting the real podcast boss allow for more tangents. Hoves drives the ship as only a true delinquent can. I occasionally hear some Lego character show up like the fun police. He's the kind of guy who would crouch in a corner with a fusion rifle and giggle about it. A real animal. And also, we all know Mana is the real Alpha Asian.
Oh,
Whoa! What? Second. Hello. I mean, like, okay, so maybe Mana got around to leaving a review. I mean, that is his name, sort of. So it could be Mana.
Oh, yeah. Is that you, Mana?
Yeah, Mana.
No, it was not.
Is it Hope?
I would
Is
just-
it yours?
What was the name?
Tommy's Turn.
Tommy's turn.
Tommy's turn.
I thought that was
Oh.
fantastic, though. He nailed it. Lego's the kind of guy who would crouch in the corner with a fusion rifle and giggle about it.
True.
It was
I
pretty
can-
spot
That
on.
is that is not true.
Oh man, I do enjoy
know-
the Hove tangent though. That's one of the things I listen to the show for. I'm like, let's see how he can derail it. Like I'm like thinking in my mind, like they're super on point and they're really on they're focused on this thing. Let's see what Hove's gonna come up. It's gonna be Spider-Man.
Can I make
Oh,
Can I make
that
an
does it
honest
finally.
confession, though? I don't think there's ever been a time that I've actually thought to myself, I'm going to say this to derail it. My mind is just such a terrible interweb of thoughts that, like, you say one thing and I hear something completely off the wall and I'm like, oh, I want to talk about, like, oh, look at that shiny thing over there. Like, I really don't do it on purpose. I don't stop myself, don't get me wrong. But that's not really my goal.
You know, Hove, I haven't been here the last few weeks, so I'm not sure what other reviews you read, but there was another one.
Oh,
that
there
I
are
thought
no
was
other
pretty
ones. Nope.
spot on.
Nope, we're done.
And it said something about, like, it was from Full Killer. First and foremost, I am a Destiny fan. I have heard of a small clan called Resolute, but not heard much chatter about the REZOcast. I followed a less well-known Resolute clan member, and I found this podcast through that. All I can say is, what a hidden gem. They are like brothers who fight and clown together, and at the end of it all, mix well to make an entertaining podcast. Sometimes a great source of opinion and information about the world of Destiny 2. Of course, they can also be the hyperactive sugar rush induced goofball brother that you just want to hide from your friends. But hey, that's just another facet that makes these guys shine.
Hey, I love you, Fool Killer. If that's the Fool Killer that's on my friends list.
Oh, he might have found the show through you, Wilson.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was. I'm pretty sure that might.
He is not a less known.
Yeah, Wilson is not a less known member of the clan.
To be fair, I think all of us are less known, except maybe Mana.
I'm a washed up streamer, so I mean,
washed up again.
You could say washed up YouTuber, maybe.
Wow,
Lego.
Wow. Toxic.
You could talk about his gameplay. Don't
talk about his YouTube.
Wow.
Oh,
that was a real. That was a
YouTube
real
star.
kick to the coconuts, wasn't it?
And it's already member.
P.S. To anybody who is listening, we actually are playing Conversation Penetration, and of course I won. I just said my third word. Nobody else has, because I'm the winner.
I didn't know you could win.
I mean,
I win every week.
Don't come.
You can win.
With
I
that.
win
You
every
said a
week.
word.
Not all three of them. I said all three of mine.
How do you win?
You like had this look on your face.
Yeah,
when
I never
said
knew
mine
there was
too.
winning.
Yeah, I thought this was like.
Maybe I
who's
would
on
have
it
tried a little
anyway.
harder all those
Points don't
times.
matter.
Anyway, moving on. We want to talk to Mark.
Oh man.
Yeah. Since we've kept him here for 40 minutes without even know who he is.
Shit, 40 minutes?
It has been 40 minutes.
This was like a family reunion. We haven't seen each other in a long time.
Mark,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. We do want to get to know you a little bit, and so what do you feel like is your place in the Destiny community? What can people find you doing?
Well, not streaming. I kind of felt your pain on that. Hove, you were talking about that earlier. It's like I just don't get to the streaming thing very often. When I do stream, I stream like Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone because I want to. It actually helps me because I talk to the chat even though they're not listening about what my strategy is. It just helps me think, you know. But if I try
processor.
yeah, exactly. If I try to stream Destiny, I get real distracted, and then like I feel guilty for focusing on the game, and if I don't focus on the game, people make fun of my aim. So I've stopped streaming, but I do a lot of Destiny art. I have since year one of Destiny, and it's always like real silly. Like I think the Gallarcorn was probably one of my first Destiny arts. It's like, you know, the Gallarhorn with corn combined.
They're good.
So, and it's kind of evolved as Destiny has, and so I've done a Resolute series here recently that is like it's like vintage paintings combined with Destiny ships and enemies and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the angle that I've come at the Destiny community. You know, on Twitter, I got onto Twitter, I guess, right after Destiny 1 came out. And just instantly, it was really accepting the Destiny community on Twitter as like super positive and kind, which is not, you know, usual for a, you know, online community to be that way. But everybody was really supportive. And so that's kind of what got me hooked on the community of Destiny, really, was getting involved with Twitter and Destiny.
Dude, that's awesome. And one of the I feel like one of the huge things you are known for in the Destiny community is your artwork, and it's so amazing. And seeing how you put it all together, I have no idea how you do what you do, but it's incredible. And
Thanks.
If you weren't intrigued by his description of the Gallarcorn already, like you should know it's amazing just by the description, you know. But what drew you to the kind of art that you do? Were you an artist previously doing all sorts of other stuff? Can you tell me about like your background a little bit?
Yeah, I'm actually an artist in residence for like an art center. So they want to have an artist that is working there all the time, and people can come through my studio and see things in progress. So that's what I do, and I actually do really silly art in that aspect of my life as well. Like,
it's awesome.
So, you know, like just it basically, if you take a meme and you smash it together with art, what my goal is to make memes that don't need words. So I take like one of them I made recently I called it American Gotham, and it was the painting American Gothic except with Batman and Batgirl. And so everyone comes in, they're like, why isn't it Catwoman? And I was like, because Batman would be happy if it was Catwoman. They're not happy in American Gothic. They're not happy in American Gotham. No, get out of my studio. So yeah, that's the kind of thing, so when I took that type of an angle of art and I brought it to the Destiny community, it was the same way. I wanted to take something that, is some considered pretty serious and turn it into a meme. When I did the Gallarhorn was like life for Destiny. I didn't get it till about year 2. The first time I fired my Gallarhorn was in the Prison of Elders. So it was like all the LFGs were like must have Gallarhorn. So I was like, let's kind of put a lighter spin on this thing and
nice.
Look at the game for what it is. It's a game. It's fun.
Dude.
Take it easy, tryhards, right?
Man,
that's awesome.
I
love how much personality the art has to it. Just hearing you describe like your thinking in creating that piece, is so cool. And like now I'm gonna think about that personality in all of your pieces too, because that's awesome to hear the background behind it all. But you're not only an artist in the sense, or a creator in the sense of making this art, but you also do the art of podcasting yourself too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast called Loot Fancy, and our whole goal with it was to get really right down to the gear in Destiny, and even in fact in Anthem, the Division. It's Destiny focused, and everything will be seen through the lens of a Destiny player. But we'll get people who also play Warframe or also play the Division to come in and kind of give us that, that viewpoint. And it's all about talking about the builds and the way that you play the game. And Destiny 2 Forsaken really brought that back to the forefront, because now random rolls and the perks are making a difference. The mods are making a difference. And so it's very much about that. Like, we talk game design a little bit, but a lot of it is about like, what loot did you get? How do you use it? In what context? Where does it shine? Like, how silly of a loadout can you come up with and still function in the game? That kind of a thing. So that's the focus. And recently we had Lego. You came on the show. We really appreciate that. Gave us a PvP perspective. And because I'm a Gambit player, like, that's my focus. Gambit is my end game. And so a lot of what I talk about, it doesn't really, it's not relevant to anything except Gambit, but we appreciated you coming on. I think Triton's going to make a trip over. Any of you guys are welcome. If you've got some kind of a Destiny build that you're passionate about, definitely let me know and we'll have you on the show.
So that podcast is awesome. First of all, it's like my favorite thing to talk about in Destiny is the gear and loadouts and stuff like that. But for people to get to know you, Mark, what is your go-to loadout and favorite class build? Like, are you a certain character main?
I am. I've been a hunter since the beginning of Destiny.
Smart man.
Yeah, I can't. I love the idea behind a space wizard and like just all of the jokes that come with that. I really want to be a warlock, but I can't. That jump, man, I can't. I can barely double click a mouse. I certainly can't floof with a warlock. So yeah, hunter main. And then so when the Night Stalker class came out in Destiny 1, that really I felt like my focal point, because I used to use Blade Dancer to go invis because, coward class. But then after that Night Stalker came out, it was a whole new game. Yeah, me too. But then now that Blade Barrage has come out, it's such a game changer in Gambit because the ammo economy. So I use the Ophidia Spaith chest piece that gives you 2 charges for your throwing knives every time, and then I use my dodge to get my throwing knives back. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, I've got so many throwing knives, and anything with the shield, it just melts the shield immediately, and I'm using that to basically free up my ammo economy. I'm using like tractor cannon in the heavy slot, and then I'm using like a sniper in the primary slot, and then in the energy slot I'll usually either use a shotgun or a second sniper. So I'm using nothing that used a primary bullet at all, and that really allows you to do that. The throwing knife, what is that, Blade Barrage class, because you're basically taking out every ad. And even really strong ads and blockers with your throwing knives, because you're just it's coming back so quick. And I've got all my mods set up to do that too, and carry a bunch of extra sniper ammo and shotgun ammo and that kind of thing too. So it's all work just to do Gambit. Now when I try to do anything else, but that's what I love about it. That's what I like about calling it a build. Even like if I want to do something else, it's a whole different discussion, and I'll have to use lower light stuff even to be able to function in other activities.
So can I deduce that you think Titans are the worst?
I played Titan just during the beta for Destiny 2, and I thought I was gonna try Titan. I thought I was gonna build one. I just never did. So no.
Also smart. Just wanted you to know, Lego.
I will tell you, Mark, I can appreciate your melee build for Hunter class, because that is exactly what I put on whenever, not Hunter, but in the Titan realm. Whenever I go into Gambit specifically, I throw on Helm of Immos Light, which gives you your melee back every time, and I just continually Titan slam, use the new what is it called? The new
like
Striker
Death from
Titan
Above thing
that lets you do the Death from Above thing, and just over and over again on all the ads, because it kills like basically any type of medium ad instantly. And if I go for the lesser ads at first and do the Death from Above, then the medium ones get knocked down, or the heavy ones get knocked down to really low to where I can kill them on the next blow. And so I'm just slamming over and over and over again, and it gives you your health back every time you kill something. So it's basically the same thing, just meleeing over and over again. And I'm not afraid to dive into huge groups because you get your health back as soon as you kill them.
Oh wow, man!
So it's the same kind of thing, it's just with
really
a different class. So I appreciate your super heavy melee build that you've got.
Yeah, I've tried to do the same thing with the Arc Strider class, but and there is like, if you get a melee kill, your health comes back. But so far, I'm terrible at it. I'm really bad at being that in close. I'm so used to the throwing knives and being able to keep that distance from the enemies.
Yeah.
I've not.
Have you tried the Arc Blade one that lets you do the new Arc Blade melee where you do that long distance thing?
I have, but I've not had any success. When you compare the value of having triple flaming throwing knives twice, do you know what I mean, to anything else, like I've just not. There's just nothing that can compare to it. If I'm really trying in Gambit, I'm definitely using Blade Barrage for sure.
Yeah, I feel you. Very nice. Well, I
have a question real quick, Lego.
Yeah,
I can open up to you guys as well. I mean, not just necessarily Mark, but what is it about Gambit itself that has you think about, I want to have different builds and different scenarios? Because we've played a fair amount of Gambit. Actually, you guys should be thankful. I think Mark and I have gotten the Gambit clan and Graham on an early Tuesday quite a few times for us.
Thank you.
Mostly Mark, of course, but you kind of dive in to do these things. And you mentioned Magic the Gathering, which is something that I think I've been Magic free for like 10 years now.
Oh, congrats.
So I'm no longer addicted into that. But
you're always in
like
recovery,
when you're building
bro.
a deck
Always.
and you're making that sideboard and you're thinking about all those scenarios that you can counter. What is it about Gambit that kind of pulls on that type of like strategic element of making those builds? And you could do that for anyone. I haven't found that in Destiny at all. Like whether it's Crucible, raids, whatever, it's just highest light thing, or quickly look for the quicker reload. But
well, when Destiny 2 came out, the year one was really tough for me, because the reason I played Destiny, did I say Destiny 1? Okay, the reason I played Destiny 1 was because of weird loadouts. And then Destiny 2 came out and it was like, okay, now you have 2 primaries and 1 heavy. And some of your heavies are actually your special weapons. I just was not into it at all. Year 1 of Destiny 2, I was like, come on, I've been shooting this ad with my auto rifle for like 30 seconds now. I'm really I'm not into this, Yeah. So when that changed, when the weapon slots changed, and not only did they change, they changed better than D1. Now that you can use a sniper even in the primary slot is just incredible. So that, combined with the fact that Gambit is a PvE content primarily with PvP elements. So that's my favorite thing. I really, really like that. I think the one game type that made me come back to gaming, because I was done with gaming. I played Halo, 1 and probably through 3, and I quit. And then ODST came out, and then that's what got me hooked back in, but because of the firefight mode. So it was like it was a horde mode, but it was like very, very difficult. Like
Interesting.
And you really needed to think about when you were going to grab the power weapons, and there was strategy to it and everything. And so in Destiny, until this particular content came out, until Gambit came out, I really didn't feel like I had a home in Destiny. Exactly. We used to do weird things, like we would go into the first encounter of the Crota raid, and we would get to the end, but we would not cross the bridge, and then put on weird loadouts and see who could survive the longest. So like, cool. Because just tons and tons of hive would just keep spawning up there. If you never crossed the bridge, they would just keep spawning and keep attacking you. And so we would do a lot of interesting things like that, but there was never really a game type like Gambit that is so focused and so strategic that you are fighting ads, but you're also, you know, trying to do it better than this other team that's fighting ads as well. So it was the combination of weapon slots changing back to the right place, the fact that it is PvE centric, but also has a PvP element, and, you know, kind of a horde mode in there as well. So all that stuff combined to make it where I'm just obsessed with Gambit. I just love it so much. Anybody else? I'm sorry, I just talked a long time.
No, that you nailed it, dude.
No, I'm thinking about hitting you up for that double XP, because I like Gambit, but I really need that second reset. So
okay.
And you got me wondering, Mark. Because of the way you described what you love doing and the infinite ad kind of thing, what did you think about the reworked Infinite Forest for Halloween? Was that interesting, or is it not, you know, quite what you're looking for because it's timed, you know?
I did like it, but the fact that there was no race there, you know, another team, I would have told you before Gambit came out that I would have preferred the Haunted Forest. I would have thought that. I would have, like, deep down thought that. I was not excited about Gambit having both elements in it. But then now that I've played it that way, it's just so much more exciting. Like, somebody can just come in and just ruin you. I mean, like, you know what I mean? And it's like that fear. It's like, you know, someone invades and your heart rate goes up, you know, because, like, if you're really invested, you're like, this guy could really mess us up. Like, I've got 15 motes, like Tech Doc. He's always like, stop carrying so heavy. Like, why are you carrying 15 motes? And I'll do it every time. If he's playing with me, I pick up 15. And I'm
just
like, hey,
to get to
look over here. I'm so full. I'm so full right now. Yeah, so it's all that kind of shenanigans that really make me like it, Gambit, more. I did like the Haunted Forest though. It was interesting, but I didn't play it a lot, and I think that's the key to liking it, right? If you played it too much, you were done. Yeah.
Yeah, I got all the masks. I was done.
I just got the horror story and I was good.
I kind of want I hate to say like a true horde mode, but instead of like progressing through an area, I would like just like holding down an area, and so, like you were talking about on the bridge at Crota. Like, I want an area where there's no way out. The stuff's coming at you. Like, sure, you have your little in between rounds or whatever. We can go gather ammo and do whatever and stuff like that for a brief period. But it would be really cool to see something like that. I did like the new Infinite Forest, but like you guys said, you play it so many times and you're over it. But like, that was the cool thing about like a horde mode, where you were just kind of like defending an area instead of progressing through kind of the same area a bunch of times, was that just so many different things would happen. Like, things would come down to the wire, like somebody would end up clutching around so that everybody could get up for the next round. Like, just stuff like that would be really cool.
Dude, what if they made a Gambit survival, like where it keeps going until all the players on one side are dead, and you can invade? Like, they keep the invasion model, you know, but it's like rarer, you know, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. That
is often.
More Queenbreaker.
Man,
that would
be fun.
Yeah, if Gambit custom games came around, we could try it, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't have as many people using like Queenbreakers and maybe Sleeper, I don't know, depending, because you'd have to be so focused on ads if the invasion was very rare. And so the ads became overwhelming, but you can invade, and it's like, oh, what do I choose the loadout that helps me clear ads and stay alive, or kill the other team when I get that one chance, you know? I don't know. That would be pretty interesting, I think, and to see just who could survive the longest.
I think anything where respawns aren't enabled, or it does come down to the wire to where like you're dead, like if you die, that's it, like makes players play completely different.
Yeah.
Like we would see a completely different play style with that game. People be team shotting ads like it was, year one trials with Mitas. You know what I mean? Like it'd be a different. It'd be interesting. I'd like to see that as well. That would be cool. Like even if they like started it where like you couldn't invade, just to kind of like test it out for a little bit, just some sort of like a team versus team like endurance. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Man, I really hope Gambit custom games are a thing though, because imagine all the different stuff you could come up with. You could, on your honor system, like you get killed, you just sit down.
That's
or
true.
you
Yeah.
turn around backwards in the spawn or whatever, so you don't give away any information. But that would be so cool.
Well, like,
that would be pretty
I would
agree,
definitely
man.
cheat.
Like you talked about,
You turn around.
you talked about Halo 3, and that was one of the greatest things about killing time in Halo 3 was custom games. I got invited by random people from the previous lobby into some of the funnest game modes I've ever played in my life that were completely constructed by the player base. Like, for instance, even in D1, when we had like, if we had custom games where we could do things like just tweak so many different options between like maybe gravity or like damage output or something like that, and like if we could make stickies one bang again, we could play dodgeball, things like that. Like just super fun stuff. Like there was an infected like zombie mode in Halo where like one person was really fast, invisible, like the Halo invisible, and had a sword. They were really fast, they were tanky, and basically it would be like 19 people versus this one guy. But if he killed one of you, you became just like him. So it became this big survival thing of like either you pretty much just had to beat the clock. You had to survive for a certain amount of time. And that would be really cool to see stuff like that in Destiny. Maybe not to that exact degree, but just to give an example.
Could you imagine
what's possible? Easy.
Sorry,
They're
just laughing at he's jumping out of his underwear into the space he's in.
Yeah.
But could you guys imagine if they somehow came out with a complete editor like they had in Halo 3?
Oh man,
the Forge.
Yeah, Forge mode and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. Talking about the infected. Did you guys play? This is completely off topic, but in Halo 2, did you guys ever play Halo 2 infected?
Yes.
Before it was game mode, and that was the honor system where if you got killed by the guy with the sword, you had to manually change
teams.
Yeah. Oh, that's how that started?
Yes. Dude, because Wilson, when you were talking about it, that's what I thought you were gonna say. Is because in Halo 2, you'd get random invites from people like, "Hey, do you want to come play this custom game with us?" And you'd end up in this random lobby with people that you didn't know, and then they're like, "Okay, here's how the game works," and you start playing it. It's complete honor system, like Man is saying. And then Bungie was like forced. They were like, "Well, everyone's playing this game.
Like,
I guess we should make it."
Yeah, let's do it.
I didn't have high-speed internet for Halo 2. We didn't get it till around the time of Halo 3. But one of my favorite things was the featured custom map of the week.
You had this little like share thing that you can click on where you can upload. I forget how many there was, like 6 or 8 like files you can upload. You can upload pictures, maps, clips, like game modes and stuff like that. And towards the end of Halo 3, where Bungie just stopped really caring about like monitoring the game.
All the maps were boobs.
Well, I wasn't gonna say, there was a lot of not safe for work stuff in there, but no, like there was these modded maps and stuff where like infected, there'd be like tiny guys running around and like,
oh my god,
it was hilarious because like say the normal people were normal sized Spartans. But then you see these guys with these tiny little dudes with big swords running around. And you're like, they're so hard to shoot.
Chicken-sized Lego flashes with fusion rifles.
With fusion rifles.
Or they're just like, huge and they're like glitching through the map and stuff.
I can't even imagine what that would be like for Destiny, like to have all those options.
I still just want gun game in Destiny. Would still be amazing.
Oh, it would. Yeah.
What guns would they go through in gun game in Destiny? Though?
Exotics. You would have to do exotics.
Oh, exotic. Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
I should just like work at Bungie.
They should do for faction rallies. They should do a focus faction rally gun game where they only focus on like a Dead Orbit, gun game.
Oh, that's
through older
cool.
stuff or something.
I'm down with that.
I always wanted a faction rally like where it's based off of like certain their weapons and stuff. You know?
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Well, they are still listening to community feedback, which is funny because it felt like they hadn't been for. Oh, not that they hadn't been, but just we hadn't seen a lot of like what their goals were for like what was coming next. And in the TWAB this week, we got a lot of like, hey, this is what we have going on now. So the TWAB this week, at first they talked about Bungie Bounty, which is on Xbox, which is interesting because I don't feel like Xbox gets a lot of love. So that was cool to see.
What's
an Xbox? I know, right? And then they got a raid ride along, which is always fun to see how they made stuff. But not only is it just like that community aspect going on, but also they have a whole section on incoming improvements, and they put their goals for the improvements and all that stuff. And the first one is like huge for me because the performance load times are kind of crazy on console right now. And it just like I plan now when I turn on to play Destiny that I'm gonna do something else while it's loading, because it takes so long. And so
pancakes.
Yeah, right.
I love pancakes.
How far away is this tower? God, I've been flying to this tower for like 5 minutes.
It's like there's antifreeze on my console or something. So they address all these things, and they say that so the load times for logging in, for going to destinations, and they recognized feedback on UI performance and going through the menus and everything. So the big thing that they are focusing on right now, at least, that they're like, okay, this is what we're planning to change, is to make optimizing activity and destination load times, which is great. I wish the focus would have been on the loading times just to turn it on, because personally, that's like my biggest complaint. But
didn't they say that?
Yeah, I think that was
no,
on there.
they just address
starting up the game, signing on, and selecting your character.
That's just the goals. Like, they want to address those things.
That's the goal.
But the only thing they're actually changing right now in the upcoming Season 5 update, you'll see loading into activities and traveling throughout the destination improved. And and this is the part that's actually exciting, though, is they estimate that all that being said, loading from orbit into EDZ should be reduced from over 2 minutes down to just over 1 minute. So that's like twice as fast, which is great.
That's
I'm not a mathematician, but that's like 2 times.
It's double.
Oh
wait, half.
I wish we
double the speed, half the time.
2 minutes,
right?
I didn't realize it was that long to begin with.
We're getting deep.
That's what she said, Triton.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still bummed out that we're caught in the speed trap that is load times for getting into the game and actually playing it. But I'm glad to see that they know it's a problem and they want to work on it.
Man, you better get them words in, fam.
I haven't done any
your words in.
Oh, I just spoiled.
Yeah, but Mana's a
2 of mine.
Man, really?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
He'll get them in on community questions if anything.
You're a liar. Oh yeah, you did.
So yeah, those are pretty exciting,
man.
But the stuff that's even almost more exciting to me is that they're working on super tuning. They talk about after that, which is huge to me because I kind of like want. It's been a little while since Forsaken released, and it's going great, and we're loving it. But there's also things that we're like, are they ever going to talk about how these supers are performing or how these weapons are performing? And we at least got some super tuning going on. So Claude Jerome, Sandbox designer, got on here to talk about it. They talked about their goals for these things, but also what they're actually doing to it. The first one was Spectral Blades, and they want to retune to increase the reliability of melee attacks in PvP and bolster the effectiveness of super stealth capabilities. And so the way they're doing this is increasing melee lunge range of all attacks, reducing the cost of the super energy it takes to make the attacks, increasing the number of consecutive hits acquired to speed up the attack rate, decreasing base attack speed to improve hit registration on intended targets, and returned melee targeting to have greater emphasis on player input. So basically, like where you're pointing the stick.
You
That's
lost
where...
me at Spectral Blades.
Oh yeah, because you
Plays a
haven't
lot
played
of-
that.
Well, I mean, Wilson, do those things align with things that you think would be good additions? I know you
Yes,
play a lot of
100%.
Blades.
I was gonna say that sounds like anything and everything that was wrong. Like the first thing I heard in there was melee hit detection on the super, which is you could do nothing else to the super and just do that to where when I actually hit someone, that a little bell goes off and goes ding ding ding, you dead. That'd be great. But more lunge range, like faster, like dude, that's gonna be great. It sounds like it's gonna be closer to how fast Blade Dancer was in D1, and hopefully it hits more consistently.
Yeah, more.
And the thing that I didn't mention too is very lastly on there was increasing the viability of stealth mechanics. So they're adding a small amount of damage resistance to the stealth state and further decreasing the super drain when in the stealth state.
I'm down for that, man, because I and using the swipes to maneuver, like I don't feel like I should get like penalized for that as much when you know, a warlock can come flying around the corner and like blink 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 and then like go thermonuclear nova bomb on everyone, like, and not be punished. Really, it was the same problem that Stormcaller had when it was first introduced. Like, you could just hold down, like, where is your R2 game at, you know, like it just you know, it just would never drain down. I'm hoping they don't overdo it too much. Like, I don't know, I guess, like, I don't know, that's kind of hypocritical because I've definitely said before I'd like to see them just overbuff things and take chances. So yeah, overbuff it. Let's take some chances.
He changed his mind immediately.
Wait a minute. Caspy was right.
Wait a minute. No, I don't. No.
Like, I'm gonna need you to say stealth state 5 times fast.
That's very difficult. It was hard for me to read just
Can you
that
try it?
paragraph.
Can you try it for me?
Stealth states. No, I can't.
Oh, you'd have been
Um,
fine if you just read it. Like, I believe in you.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about I like their
3 more times.
I really like that they put the goals of these things in here because I just love hearing why they're doing what they're doing. And we used to never get this in D1, and now we get like, okay, this is why we're doing this. And I just love hearing that. Even if I don't agree with it, at least I know, like, oh, this is why. Okay, like, it's good to hear that they, you know, are changing it to where you put your stick directed towards more input to where you're trying to hit on that way you don't. And he says the reason for this is because we don't want you to hit enemies in PvE that you're not trying to hit, so you can hit the boss when you want to hit the boss and not the ad next to him. And I'm like, that's great.
So they're trying to help you hit that
with your stick.
With your stick pointed.
Being a
More towards-
wingman.
Your blade.
Yeah, Bungie's like the ultimate wingman.
I saw
he did
Hope
that.
smirk when you said that.
Yeah.
I know, I saw.
I immediately knew why he was smirking.
I was trying not to. I was like,
Mana.
Well, you can also
Bad
smirk.
influence, man.
You can also smirk Hove because they're adjusting Chaos Reach to where if you deactivate Chaos
I've
Reach,
never deactivated it ever.
I have. It doesn't even work. So
Exactly. No one. Everybody says it doesn't work. So now, if you turn it off towards the end, you get more of it back to use later.
So
So
like peeing, you can't
is it
stop
true?
once you started. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you can't stop that stream and start it up again, man. Like,
yeah, you can.
clippity cloppity.
it hurts.
So you tried.
Are you saying if you don't use it, you lose it?
I've heard that. I've heard that before. Let's think of that scene from Dumb and Dumber where he's pissing in the car and he's like, I can't stop once I've started.
Yeah.
It stings.
keep filling all the bottles.
Yeah.
It is interesting that they're gonna punish you if you start and stop immediately. They're like, can't do that.
No, that's
You lose all your super energy.
I mean, they're gonna fix it first. I mean, I assume that when they when they implement this, that it will be fixed in general. That you do retain some level of your super when you do stop it. I mean,
If you pop your super immediately and you have to stop it, like you should see a doctor. You might need like some Flomax or something.
Yeah,
Like
they're.
a little enlargement.
Ooh, Flomax. Yeah, seriously though, Matt Grundy put in chat that he was hoping for more tweaks to Chaos Reach because aiming with it is really hard. I don't know how much any of you guys use it, and normally it's pretty easy. But like if you are like backed up again because it goes into the third person, If you like are backed up against a wall or you jump up into like some of the geometry, it does get really weird. You can't even see that there's a beam coming out of you. It's really strange. Never mind.
It is weird going into the
Our mind is
aiming you
somewhere
shut
else
down.
right now.
It says beam. I hear stream.
You know, I come on this podcast to try to be serious and provide information, and you guys just derail it, and it's just.
I think
Since we're already derailed.
Hove has done too much leading the podcast recently, and he just doesn't know what to do anymore.
He's
No,
focused.
I've
This is
learned.
his hope.
Yeah. I've learned like a little bit ago when we were talking. What were we talking about right before the TWAB?
Gambit.
Yeah. Maybe it was during Gambit. Do you know what it made me think of? And I almost I realized that this wasn't the time.
Oh,
For some
wow.
reason, it
Good
made
for
me
you.
think about. I had a buffalo-loaded chicken sandwich at Get-Go the other day that was really good.
Do you get Funyuns with that?
No, I didn't get any Funyuns. But that's what came to my mind, and I wasn't trying to derail the podcast, but I almost was like, "Oh, guys, guess I had this really good chicken sandwich."
I would appreciate that though, since we can frequent the same places. Usually
Yeah.
do give good
Do you have
recommendations for
Do you have
food.
Get-Go's, Mana?
I do believe so. Yeah.
You have Giant
I
Eagle?
never been to one.
and
so-
now we're
Really?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
Off,
Get-Go.
off topic.
Get-Go is actually see.
that fast. It can
I'm-
happen.
He appreciated your restraint.
Hey, this is
earlier.
important to me now. Okay, I'm learning something.
You have Sheets, right?
Yes.
I always loved Sheets. Get-Go is better than Sheets in every way now with the made to order.
Never
food.
heard of any of these places.
Well, you're
Yeah,
in
MTOs are really good.
Mexico, Lego.
Basically, I was in Mexico last
It
week.
used to be
actually.
Mexico.
Lego, but your gas stations have actual
Buc-ee's. These are
I
awesome.
don't know, you have barbecue stations in your gas stations, right?
Sometimes more
Sometimes.
taco stops at the gas.
Mm.
I went to a good
Yeah, so-
barbecue place in Austin, but I forget what it was called.
Was it? Dang it! Now I'm blanking
Was
on
it Rudy's?
everything.
Dude, there was barbecue all in my face when I was down in Texas, down in Austin, man. It
That's
was
awesome.
everywhere, dude.
Wait,
You couldn't
here's a
hide.
question. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, after
You
what
should
you're
be
saying.
sorry.
No,
No,
I'm
no,
intrigued
no.
now. Go.
Oh, okay. So talking about gas stations, I learned that some states you can't. They don't sell alcohol in their gas stations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does yours? Like,
Yeah,
because we're
Yeah.
talking about how I think it's now becoming a thing in I forget what state we're talking about, but certain areas in PA had no idea that other areas sold alcohol at their gas stations.
Hmm.
And then I'm right at the border, and then you come over the border, and our gas stations have full blown beer caves. So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, but
They
you're
probably
talking
thought it was
like
a
big.
Stevens.
You're talking like big gas stations, not like little like Sunoco's.
Basically every gas station has alcohol in Texas, but you can't. There's still a law where you can't buy alcohol before noon on a Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
you get
Blue
can you
laws?
get
That's the
liquor
way
on
it is here,
Sundays
too.
in Ohio, Mana?
I don't think so. No.
Dude,
Yeah.
Illinois don't give a fuck. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to not be drunk in Illinois.
Did you know in Missouri it's illegal to or Kentucky it's illegal to carry ice cream in your back pocket?
Oh boy.
It's like one of those weird blue laws
Why
that
is
they never
that?
change.
I don't know.
Yeah, like
Oh.
that you
I
can't
grew up-
fart in an
I grew up-
elevator or something.
I was waiting
this
for it
town,
to.
the
The
next
law's
to
just
That's
looking
just a
out
thing.
for like your pants, you know?
It's like there's another one in like Alabama. It's illegal to have like an alligator on a leash on a streetcar or something.
What about a manigator?
What about
That's
manigator?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a bullshit law, and someone should test it.
He's offended.
I am.
Well, back to the TWAB. There is now, they're looking also at adding checkpoint resets later on. Which this is for like raid activities and stuff. Like whenever you get a checkpoint in the raid, you can't reset it if you want to start from the beginning with your friends. Which you could obviously just have your friends start it and then you join them. But they're looking at adding that in right now. Basically, they didn't say it is going to be added in, but just letting us know, hey, we're looking at this
On the to-do list.
on the to-do list. Mark will love this. Gambit free trial this weekend for everyone, which means more noobs in the Gambit playlist, and it's double Gambit XP weekend.
That's so sadistic. He'll love shitting on these newcomers who want to try the game.
It sounds like Mark wants a challenge, so maybe this isn't for him. But for
Mark seems unscrupulous.
I should take that, kid. For me, I might be playing Gambit this weekend for the double XP and easy wins. But
no, you're right. I want to crap on noobs.
Okay. I knew you were in Resolute. I knew it.
I'll just use a terrible loadout so that it really stings.
So yeah, and it's full curse week. So Ascendant Primeval Servitors are going to be around, which I still haven't seen. So
do you prefer calling it
see that
the meatball or the butthole?
The meatball.
I've not heard the butthole. I always hear meatball. I never heard
About
the
the
two in
meathole.
combination.
The
Meaty butthole.
Oh god.
My friend calls it the flesh servitor.
That's a good one.
Didn't I tell somebody yesterday I was gonna mail them a fleshlight? Why did I do that? Do you remember that, Wilson?
Who was that?
Was it Spiffy?
It was Spiffy. Yes, and he goes,
Okay.
why? There was an awkward pause, and he just goes, why?
Because at the end of November.
Oh man.
And somebody was like,
Because
"What he
the
didn't
person
tell
was
you
like,
is it's
"Meat."
used."
Oh, God.
Do you know what also is a why to me is why is Iron Banner set up the way that it is in this TWAB? They talk about Iron Banner coming back next week, and they don't do their usual like, hey, here's all the
Weapons and
exciting stuff you
yeah.
can get from it. Aren't you so excited for this? These are the weapons that are going to be available. Nope, it's just, hey, Iron Banner is coming back, and then they leave it alone. They're like, that's it.
I respect
Take it or
how
leave it.
hard you just.
Well, they have a
got us
video.
back on
Yeah,
trail.
I was gonna say that. That was
Right?
really
That was
good.
It's like, wow, that was okay. We're back on it.
They have a little video of all 3 sets of armor.
Yeah, but that, I mean, that's there every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like they're hearing the complaints about no one wanting to do Iron Banner because of light level being impossible to play against, especially if you're like, you know, not up there in light level and you've got these people with Not Forgotten at level 600 and they're just destroying you. You're like,
Yeah, foot shot. You're dead.
I
yeah.
feel so bad because like we asked for this, like we begged and pleaded to have Light Matters back in it, and I just feel like it was
Some people did.
the dial was cranked up to 11. I was one of those people. I enjoyed
Really?
that. Like I kind of enjoyed being like, crap, I can't really use this gun. If I do, I kind of need to pump. Like, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't as drastic as it is
Yeah.
now.
I don't even think that's the issue. I think I had mentioned this a few weeks ago. I don't think that like the curve, whatever, like with light changed or power. It's just the fact that we also asked for it not to be so easy to get to max power, and then now it's this super long grind. So if you're not grinding like crazy, you're going to be way behind.
That's a really good point.
Mana.
Yeah.
Well, also it sucks for those who like, because they adjusted Iron Banner to have a little bit of a like twist on it with the you can cap 3 zones and then it locks them for 15
Yeah.
seconds, which is actually really fun. Like I love that mechanic, and it allows games to completely swap. Like someone will be in control, then they'll lock all 3 zones, and then none of the zones are capped, and then the other team captures all 3 zones. And I've seen that back and forth several games. And it's really fun when I am not playing against a team that is all full 600 and I'm at 540, you know? And now that I'm at 600, I'm actually really excited to go in and actually play it, you know, and not worry about that. So I don't know. Do you think, Wilson, that they're going to go back on the way it is now? Or do you think they'll keep the light level enabled to like give people incentive to make the climb? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a really good question. I like all the changes that they've made to it. I just think that's a little drastic. Like I love the triple cap scenario. Like there's definitely been games that I've been in where like we had to triple cap to make a comeback and made it happen. And it also makes you kind of like space out your supers a little bit. Like maybe if we're about to get a triple cap, then I'll capitalize on it and pop my super and stuff like that. But as far as light level goes, I mean, I hope they pull back on it like a little bit and try it out or something. I don't want to see it go away completely because like I said, I was one of those people that wanted it and I do like it, but holy shit, man. It is intense.
Just
dude.
get good.
Well, you know,
Trying, man.
sorry, Triton, were you gonna say something?
Well, you had mentioned, Lego, that you had just hit 600 and you primarily were doing the Born comp. So, I mean, the hose point, you know, there's such a grind to get, sometimes had to do a variety of things to do it. If you really just wanted to play PvP, and here Iron Banner with no trials up is kind of one, and if you weren't in comp, was kind of an alternative to another form of PvP with being a different mode, you probably weren't at 600 when that one first dropped. But people who don't normally play PvP, they were maybe closer to that if they raided a lot. So if that's what you really wanted to do, it felt like you were penalized for playing a mode that you were looking forward to in some way. I don't, maybe not penalized is too drastic, but you know, I think the people that played the best in Iron Banner maybe the first time up were the people that were all through the raid or got raid ready. And I wasn't like that, so I didn't play the first Iron Banner. But then was like 590 when the last one came up. I don't think it will be as bad now. I mean, maybe if you're mana and you're in the 540s, it's still a little rough. But most people are approaching that time. But I would agree. I think the tough thing is the rewards in there get you closer to 600. But prior to that, if you are mainly a PvP player, there wasn't a lot of rewards other than maybe the two powerful engrams, right? That could have got you to a point to be more competitive in there.
Dude, I think you described exactly what I was feeling like when you said you're in comp and you're just playing that, and then you're looking forward to Iron Banner as like this way to catch up, or you know, even have some sort of in-game light level gaining activity for PvP specifically that you can do, and then you finally get it and it's disappointing because you can't do anything because you've been in comp the whole time and you have no light level, and those who are doing PvE who already have the light level are able to do it. And so it's not like, I don't understand. This is what gets me, is like, I'm not even sure if I'm going to do it other than just for the fun factor of the 3-zone thing, for the, because there's not a lot of gear specifically that I want from there. And the higher light level engram doesn't really matter. If you're lower light level, you can't obtain it anyway, because it's so frustrating to do when you're lower light. So I don't know, I guess unless you're at that tipping point of like almost at 600, I feel like there's not as much reason to do the activity. I don't know. Mark, I'm curious for you what you feel about it, because you're, number one, you're at that tipping point, but also I felt like in the past Iron Banner was also kind of a like, hey, if you're not hardcore PvP, this is like the communal version of PvP that everybody can kind of do.
Yeah, I was, my RNG is really bad, so I remember diving into Iron Banner just because like I could not get the Vault of Glass helmet, but I could get a helmet that was max light out of Iron Banner, so I did play it a lot. I'm kind of in the other camp, in that if you're gonna enable light level, it should hurt. Like because I don't know if you guys remember Iron Banner in D1 at the end of it, light level was enabled, but you couldn't tell. Like I couldn't. I mean, like you would almost have to nerf yourself on purpose. Like put on a white piece of gear to like really bring your light level down before you could even tell, which we did, you know, for funsies, of course. But like the way that it is now, you actually can feel it. And I think that the thing that feels bad about it is what Triton said. The fact that it has been so hard to level up, and then you feel like it's not even an option for you because the people that have leveled up are just destroying in there. I think once it gets a little bit in the future, like to the point where everybody's leveled up, then why does it matter? It doesn't matter at all then, right? So I think is if they're going to enable light level, they're doing it the right way. It's just, there's just no way that it's going to feel good. I was leveling on PC and I went in there like 400 and some. I mean, it was bad. I mean, like I was really dying quickly. It was like single shot of a sidearm did me in. So I mean, like I don't want it to be that extreme and I don't want it to feel bad, but I really don't think if you're going to enable light level, there's any other way to do it. Because it needs to feel bad to get killed by a high level player, or because in order for it to feel good for that high level player to kill you, if that makes sense. If it's too small of a difference, it's not noticeable, and why do it?
I'll kind of split the. Go ahead, Triton. Go ahead.
I just, you brought up a good thing that was, a good point about it being kind of a communal event, and like I remember when we talked about Iron Banner and the first one that came up in D2, I was really hoping that actually would be the return of sixes then, because, that's when all my friends got back together and maybe they weren't PvP or maybe they were very casual. Well, yeah, in this system, if you're a pretty casual and maybe you're, 550 or 560, that's not an event you all of a sudden want to do. So I think, to Mark's point, I do agree that light level enable, and I think we all have agreed that the light level being around is a good thing. I think just looking at like the target audience for who was going to play Iron Banner and like their path to get to be even on par with people was maybe a little missed. So hopefully they do some tuning, although I think everyone kind of approaching 600 may like kind of be self-tuning in some regards too. So
yeah, I'll split the difference between what we've been saying, Mark, and that is like I agree with you that if light level is enabled, then you should feel it. Like I 100%, because I think in Gambit it's really cool to have, like, even being under leveled for most of my Gambit experience, it's fun to see an invader and it's 4v1 against that invader, and he's a much higher light level than me, and it takes me 4 headshots from my hand cannon to kill him, to get my ace of spades done back in the day. But it was really challenging and fun, and it wasn't just like every second I was facing somebody that much higher light level than me. So it was that good balance of like, wow, their light level matters, but I'm not facing that every second of this game, so I loved it there. But in Iron Banner, like I'll still stick to my guns, and like I just wish light level wasn't enabled in it. But when it is enabled, I want it to matter, and so I agree with you there.
I think it's a bad idea. I don't think light level enabled is a good idea at all, but I think they're implementing it correctly. I mean, like why implement it if it doesn't matter, right? So like it does matter, 100%. But it feels bad. Like I think enabling it is a bad idea. In fact, I think in Gambit, I don't even like that light level's enabled in Gambit.
Really?
Like, I want to be able to like use just any old trash weapon or at any light level, or pull an exotic out of my vault and instantly feel okay about putting it on.
Yeah,
I know eventually I'll level up to 600 and this won't be an issue anymore or whatever, but I just feel like I don't understand the reasoning behind shrinking your player base for any reason at all. Like you get Iron Banner and the people who are leveling up aren't going to want to go in there. Exactly. And so then your player base is shrank, it's not this community event like you said. But
so will you be playing any Iron Banner?
Oh no.
Answers the question right there.
Absolutely not. I don't think I am either. I think I'm too small of a baby still to dabble into Iron Banner. See, I think it's all right for light advantage and all that, but I think maybe it might be, especially the first Iron Banner after Forsaken, I think it was too soon to enable light. I think the first one was just not okay for the majority of the player base, because you're going to have those hardcore guys that are the minority, right? That are going to be high, super high light and all that, and then you're going to have guys like me that are super busy out of the blue, or just busy in general. It's just like, now I don't even want to go in. I'm afraid, my elo, man. I'm afraid to lose it.
Do not want.
But like,
do not want.
I don't know. Maybe like even this far into it, it might still be a little too early. I'm not sure. Like right now, I'm kind of teetering. I'm like, we got time now. More people. We should be grinding up, and then now I feel like we should be able to compete now in Iron Banner more. But at the same time, it's just like, it's been a couple of months now, right? So
yeah, you
think that'd be long enough time to? I don't know. I'm kind of right there. It's like it might still be too early to turn on light advantage. I feel like down the line, turning on light advantage when more and more people, the player base have decent light level, I think that's okay. I think that's all right.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I'm with Mark. I just feel like, what's the point in any sort of player versus player thing? It doesn't feel right to me.
See, I kind of agree with that too, especially like say D1 Trials of Osiris, they had light advantage. I feel like since that was the hardcore like mode of D1, light advantage made sense, because I was that guy going around with Black Spindle one banging people to the body, and it felt glorious. I didn't feel bad for anyone.
See, and that's the thing, right? Like you felt great, and like I don't begrudge anybody like feeling great for shooting me in the toe with a sidearm and killing me on PC. Like that was their day. It wasn't my day.
But yeah, it's just like I feel like since like D1 had Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner, I felt like Trials of Osiris, that'd be for the more hardcore, the more daring, and then Iron Banner would be for the community, like you guys were talking about. Like it'd be more for everyone. So maybe light advantage and Iron Banner. Like I said, I like it, but at the same time, I don't like it because I'm too afraid to do it too. So I don't know.
Speaking of trials, did you guys see that emissary of the 9 was like hanging out floating with the queen?
Bring that up.
Yeah, Dwarven Oracle.
foreshadowing, maybe.
Yeah, dude,
And
I
then
think so.
she
A
said-
lot of people are saying that.
The queen said something about you have to leave because my next guest does not takes the presence of the travelers chosen as disrespectful.
Oh yeah, and people are speculating that maybe the queen is gonna be like our enemy at some point,
Well-
or you're gonna have to choose or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll see about that. But you think it's like someone from the 9 that's coming next to talk to her?
Non-Pig had a really long thing about that in the lore, like
Yeah.
who that possibly could be, which I actually tried to read this morning, and since I know about the lore, I got pretty lost after like his second tweet, but it was actually pretty informative.
You mean the
so-
snore? Not the. I call it the snore instead of the lore. I can't stay engaged. I just can't.
Oh, really? I think it's so interesting, and I'm glad you brought up a non-pig because I saw that exact tweet, and I want to go back and read the what do you call it when there's several tweets in a row? I can't remember.
Thread.
That's the word I'm looking
Fucking
for.
novel.
Yeah, or not. In this case, the lore novel. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's super interesting, and I need to go back and read about all that stuff because I saw the video of somebody, because I haven't done it myself because I just got back the other day and tried and finished getting Not Forgotten. But I want to go see the Queen just because of the Emissary of the 9 situation going on there, and the little Trials preview maybe coming. I don't know.
Did you just have a
Bring it
seizure?
back.
Dude, I could talk about Trials coming back for like a whole episode, so I'm not gonna get into it.
Did you guys order your lore book? I did order that book. Maybe I'll
No.
start to love it after.
I
read
need to because
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
it. I mean, you
Ordered
better.
Mo one so he can read it to me at night and show me all the
Oh.
pictures.
Oh.
He told me
It's
it
a
has
picture
pop-up
book.
pictures. I don't believe him. We'll see.
Oh, that reminds me of another podcast review that we got that said, "Where's Mindy?" And it was just all, missing the good old days. When Hove and Mindy still had a somewhat stable
Relationship.
relationship. Yeah, I don't know.
Mindy is not a
Connection
real
seems-
person.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah,
when
no,
guys
you
are-
don't know. Like, I think one of my favorite moments, if we had to do ever favorite moments of podcasts, is I think when it was just the three of us, you messaged like, I know this is kind of a funny thing, but I really don't want to talk about this if Ho's going to be sensitive about it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it was Mindy. And I was like, oh my gosh, Lego.
I was
That's very
concerned. Like,
girlfriend.
Hope seemed very distraught about it. Their disconnect.
Must have struck a nerve.
Yeah.
And the time you thought that Hove and I were both from Philadelphia.
Oh well.
After like
That's
9
on me.
months
Well,
together.
that's fine. Do you remember when Lucas thought Florida was in Ohio?
Yeah, I remember.
Yep. So, yep, when we had Lucas on.
Well, there's one last thing with the TWAB real quick. Season 4 is closing November 27th. All the
Yes.
triumphs are closing down, which that's soon.
Yeah.
So
sooner than
if
I
there's
thought.
something you haven't done yet that you need to get on, it's time to do it.
Me and Mana are like,
I'm going to jump on it right now.
yeah.
So wait, how close Mana and Wilson are y'all to Luna's? Because
I got
Mana
Luna.
got Luna's.
Yeah.
He's trying to get
Mana's
Not
a
Forgotten.
freaking young god, so of course
Yes.
he got his without even breaking a sweat.
But Wilson,
Wow.
I'm
I
over here
overly
sweating
committed
my
to
ass
Luna.
off, literally just trying to get a buck. You know
haven't
what I
even
mean?
tried.
Like,
Shut up.
yeah, he's in
bullshit, I
trouble.
haven't tried, dude. I'm at like 16 hundo. I ain't tried.
You ain't tried nothing.
You ain't tried, motherfucker.
It's probably the reason why I'm so far behind on everything else. I overly committed on Luna.
Speaking of that,
I would love to sit down and just get to 2100.
we're gonna do
Uh-huh.
that.
Way.
That's what I was-
Don't ha- that way.
we're
I'm
gonna
sorry,
do that
Hope,
this
you were
weekend.
saying? No,
That's-
go
we're
ahead.
gonna do
go
that
ahead.
this weekend.
Fantastic.
We gon' grind.
Maybe I'll even stream it. Yeah.
Oh,
As long as Mana
Me-
squeals during every engagement.
Wow, that sounds
Every other.
Warm up
Okay,
the vocal
that's reasonable. Like every engagement, like you might lose viewers. Like Hove is going to stream.
Mana-
People are going
Oh,
to
I
be
don't
like,
care.
this.
I won't
guy
have
is
any
not gonna
viewers
go.
anyway.
Mana, I was
Oh,
in
come on. No
Hobie's
viewers.
chat today, and he's like, I haven't talked to Mana in a while. I wonder how he's doing. And I was like, oh, I played with him yesterday. He's doing well. He still squeals during every other engagement.
It's like if I don't go for if I don't play Destiny for a while, especially if it's just like if I'm not serious, then I'll start to squeal more. It's just like I kind of recharge my squealer.
I love it.
Wait,
No, I'll stick with it.
just roll with it.
Double down on that.
He's been recharging his squealer for all of No Nut November. Yeah, we're gonna have
October
a little.
was rough.
We're gonna. Mana came out of October with a brace on his elbow. So we're
shining my flugelhorn, man. Okay.
That's a lot of
We're-
prep work.
you're what?
what?
We're planning on having a little me, Wilson, Mana, and Fate comp grind this weekend. So we'll see if we can get Wilson as
got
Lunas. No, we don't.
AKA Fatebringer babysits. Adventures in babysitting. That's gotta be.
Normally he goes the other way around, going for the moms. So I don't know.
The mom whisperer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was like, wait, what?
There was one other thing with the 12 I forgot about, because in the art, well, there's two things. The art reminded me, someone did the Luna's Howl artwork for like them getting Lunas, and it just looked awesome. But it reminded me to ask Mark, because there's been this controversy over the artist emblem, and so I wanted to get your take as an artist. The people who did the photo contest for Festival of the Lost got the artist emblem, and some people were like, well, now I kind of feel let down because that was reserved for the artists, and this is more, something entirely different for the game. Do you feel like that emblem should be kept specifically for people who are creating art for Destiny, or do you consider screenshot art? Like, I don't know. I just was curious of your interpretation of that whole thing.
I definitely think screenshotting is art. Like taking a photograph is art. Like I don't think that should be reserved just for, if I mean, like I'm making art digitally, like if I'm using an Apple Pencil on an iPad, does that make me less of an artist than somebody using a paintbrush? I don't think so. It's just my chosen medium. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there's any reason to get stingy about that emblem. I mean, because screenshotting that's definitely an art. Like there's a whole lot that goes into that, and framing up a great shot and everything. So yeah, I absolutely think that it should be fine. There are some people, I think the only argument that I heard that is also kind of a legitimate argument is just that maybe there should be an emblem just for like basically in-game photography.
Yeah.
As well, like not and then if you're if you got a screenshot that won that contest, you should get that one instead of the artist in residence one. But I think it's fine, same umbrella. I'm not.
No, that's cool, and I like that you distinguish too at the end. Like it's not that there's anything wrong with having different groups of different kinds of art, just the same way that there's a movie of the week emblem for that's for that kind of art versus like the artist in resident emblem. So that's cool.
Art's in the eye of the beholder, man, and I'm so glad that you said that. Like it's basically photography, because people do put a lot of time and effort into lining up those shots, and like a picture says 1,000 words. Like when me and Hove were looking at the pictures, like the one with all the light up engrams and stuff like that, and like just the angle, it was really cool, man. Like it. And then, like, the drawn picture of someone getting their Lunas, like, I'm not going to lie, that made me want to get mine now. Like, that picture alone.
Yeah, Steven's amazing. Cool. Yeah.
It is gorgeous. That is a phenomenal picture.
Yeah, absolutely. The background in that one in particular, I was like, wow. Like, everything about it, the movement and everything of the flag in the background and just the way, everything about it was just so well done.
I'm so jealous, man, like, not being able to. I tried every medium possible, and like now it's like, oh, you get the degenerate art, like bong making, pipe making, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, you are an artist, man.
That's
I don't know
not
what you're talking about.
Like, we're not gonna get into that whole
incredible
thing. It is what it is. Like I said, it's in the eye of the beholder, you know what I mean? But like the whole, like, I don't know, man, this is really cool. Like, kudos to you guys.
And I think that's something that that I would like to say, if someone really has a desire and a passion to be an artist, a visual artist of any kind, what I found is that if you are willing to let what you're working on look like trash for an extended amount of time before it comes together, that's the only way to learn, right? Like it's just, true. And that's the thing. Like anytime I'm trying a new series of anything, I just brace myself for about, an hour of really insecure, like, oh my God, this is awful before I scrap it. Like, and different art would be different time limits or whatever, but like you just got to really stick with it and let yourself make some mistakes and continually try, or you'll never. I mean, like, it's really hard to do something new without making any mistakes. And honestly, continue making those mistakes or you'll never progress. So I think that's something like, Wilson, if you're like super passionate about being some kind of a visual artist, like I've got full confidence that you can do it. It's just a matter of being willing to fail for long enough before it comes together.
That's exactly it with glass, dude. It's like what I tell people. I'm like, dude, don't be afraid to fail, because like the biggest thing with like glass is that you have to go to a studio where there's other people doing it. And like people don't want to fail around other people, and that was my thing. I did construction for 9 years. Before I did that, dude, I'd fail at something every day for months until I got the hang of it. I was not afraid to fail in front of people, you know what I mean? And that is huge. Like, failure is the best teacher when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Dude, that's really great. All this whole conversation I love, because just today, like actually like maybe an hour before the podcast, I was looking back. I'm also a filmmaker. Like, that's like my actual job.
Adult films.
To wedding videography. Thank you.
First premiere was
honeymoon videography.
So, wow.
Amateur.
But I mean, normally adults get married, so I mean, it's adult filmmaking.
That's true. Yeah. Take it how you will.
So I went back like an hour before the podcast and watched a video that I made from 2012 before I even had, I think. Yeah, no. It was from 2012, and just a video that I had put together and was just watching, that before I did any kind of visual, like actual stabilization. This was before like I did any kind of color correcting on my videos. Like, there's just so much that I hadn't learned yet, and just seeing how I had progressed as a filmmaker from then till now, I was like, wow, the difference in the growing that you do from making something that's not that great to something that like I'm getting paid for now is like crazy. To go through that stage that you're talking about, Mark, is so important. And so, yeah, I just saw some of that in my own work today. And so that it was really cool to see you reinforce that just now, and encourage those who are wanting to pursue art too. Like, that's huge. Like, I think people need to hear that.
Your edits are phenomenal, Lego. Like, they're really good, man.
As much as I like to mess with you, Lego, I've seen some of Lego's wedding video snippets, and he actually does a really good job. They're much better than his previous foray into adult filmmaking. His wedding videography is very, very good.
I don't know what to say. Just wow, what a statement.
Thanks, I think.
Yeah, I thought you were just gonna get a straight compliment there.
That was a straight compliment.
On it. No, you always gotta put a spin on it. I love it.
It's like Mark said. Lego was willing to continue failing at adult filmmaking until he found that he was better at wedding videography, and he just moved into that.
Exact quote.
They're actually talking about different forms of art. The movie of the week this week is amazing, and I highly recommend you go and check out this guy's whole channel, because I got sucked in to this. It was so different than the kind of Destiny videos I was used to seeing. It's basically like a video form of a meme.
It's a meme. Yeah.
Yes.
Well edited, well constructed,
super well edited,
super meme.
Oh, I'm writing this down.
Incredible. And so I immediately subscribed and got sucked into 2 more of his videos, and it's just perfect. Like, if you love memes, you gotta go watch
too,
this
Lego.
video.
I subscribed to him because I did the same thing. I never just watched the video in the TWAB. I always bring it up in a new window, and same thing. I was like, oh, this dude's got more. Like, it's
right.
It's just super memes, dude. It's
awesome.
The edits are like the photoshopping's done really well too. Like,
it is done well.
Does that mean it's like a meme?
No.
Yeah, is it a moving meme?
Like a video meme, like a vlog?
Like a meme insertion into a video?
I'm trying to give Gorniak a voice here. He said Veem, and I like it.
Oh,
meme
yeah.
insertion?
Like a video blog is a vlog.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. We do have some community questions, actually. Speaking of chat, if you have questions, feel free to throw it out here, particularly for Mark Square. But I know we've got some community questions on Twitter, Mr. Twitter podcast boss, Mick Hoverson, 76.
Yeah. So, number one, we're going to start with Matt Grundy. He wants to know, with the soon-to-be-released DLC, along with the return of faction rallies and trials seemingly around the corner, will there be too much to do in Destiny?
I think there's already too much to do. I feel like kind of anxiety all the time, like all those daily things that are, all those buttons to punch that aren't being punched all the time. Yeah, so for sure.
I agree, but I don't know that I see it. I think the words too much gives the connotation that it's, bad. I think it's just important to have the mindset that it's okay to not do everything. Like, if you play as much as you can play and haven't done everything, that means that you got done as much important stuff as you possibly were going to, no matter how much there was available. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you have an hour to play each day, and there's 2 hours of content to play each day, you're still only going to play an hour. If there was a half hour of content and you played an hour, then you'd be pissed. So, like, you were going to play that hour no matter what. So, great.
I agree with Hope for once.
Well put.
I feel like...
Yeah, you've turned my life around.
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing is that no matter what you're doing, you should be rewarded for it. Like Hope said, you don't have to pick out all the crunch berries out of the bowl of Captain Crunch. You know what I mean? Like,
I have crunch berries downstairs right now.
Is that an STD or?
Oh, dude. And with that, Mark won the whole year. The whole year with that. I had us off to you now, sir.
We all know now.
Crunch berries.
I got it from starring in one of Lego's early works.
He did it as a favor. Lego's like, I can't get this. I can't get an actor. I can't get a lead actor.
Who got the crunch berries?
Oh man,
the crunch berries. That sounds like an awful.
Yeah,
that sounds painful.
That sounds bad.
I don't think penicillin's clearing that up. But anyway.
I agree with Hope too on what he just said. I feel like for me, as someone who definitely hasn't been able to do everything every week and has been focusing on just one part of the game, I think it's great. Like, I view it as like if I were playing a single player game and there was a giant map of content I need to explore, and I'm focusing on one city right now, if this is like an RPG or something, and it's like I want to explore this city right now and I'm getting everything I can out of it. Instead of doing a little bit of everything, I'm just doing this thing, then that's great. I have more to do later and I'll go do those things later. And that's just, I'm getting more for my money, I feel like, honestly, because there's so much to do. And I'm still getting new gear, doing, I get random exotics dropping from comp sometimes and stuff like that. Like, maybe it's not the best way to get it, but I'm still having fun playing with my friends, getting the thing I want to get. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Hope.
Oh, thanks.
Killing it.
Fucking crunch berries, man. I'm sorry, I'm still gagging at that.
That's so good.
Not all of us can have the Lucky Charms, so
They're always after his Lucky Charms.
Oh man.
I had a question and I forget what it is now. Jelly Belly asks, this one's for Mark specifically, how hard is it to be known as the best hair in the business? Also, what is life like being so beautiful? But seriously, that hair.
Yeah, Jelly does the Loot Fancy podcast with me, so I paid him to say those things.
But it's all factual for our audio listeners. Amazing hair.
Yeah, very well coiffed.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
If you're listening on the iTunes or Google Play version, I'd highly encourage you to YouTube this version so you can see this wonderful man we have sitting in front of us.
It's actually, if you guys want to know how to get hair like this, it's texturizing clay. It's actually got like oatmeal and stuff in it, and it doesn't make your hair shiny or whatever, and you just put it in there, and it like, you can do all kinds of things to it, and it'll just kind of accept it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Triton, you should get some.
No, I think I'm kind of losing that battle, but I think Lego is extremely engaged in that. As someone who usually has the best hair, Lego is like, wait, I need to take this all in, oatmeal in it, writing it all down. He was
Lego's just gonna get oatmeal
now because I use clay stuff too, and I'm wondering like what is the bottle?
I'll link you on Amazon. It's
okay.
Kills. It's they have a men's line of
all right. I'm into it. I'm totally gonna buy this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So phenomenal hair.
You're still pretty, Lego. We know.
I got my hair cut the other day. I literally walked in and a lady goes, "What do you want done?" And I go, "I don't know. You just like take the hippie out of it." And this other lady leaned over and she goes, "Did you just say take the hippie out of it?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "We'll take care of you."
Nice. That's probably the first for both of them.
Yeah, they loved it.
She's probably a retired hippie. She was actually offended. What did she give you?
Like,
Reverse
hippie,
motherfucker. So we have one from Wilson309 from Mark. I don't know why he didn't just ask it because
I'd forget
on the podcast.
He said he wanted to make sure you asked it.
With glass blowing, I sometimes run into what I call a creative roadblock where I can't seem to think of something new to try. Does this ever happen to you, and how do you conquer it?
Yeah, it does. Like artist block, or even writers
No
get
doubt.
writer's block or whatever. It's like I feel like I've dealt with this quite a bit. It's an overabundance of options is what causes a block in my experience. So anytime I'm feeling like I don't know what to do, it's because I'm thinking there are too many options for what to do. So I start creating limits for myself. So I was taught pretty early on to think in series. So you guys have seen my Destiny art. Like there's always a series. Like the one I'm working on now is the Destiny series. And it's like, a bunch of Destiny characters like getting killed, except I'm not going to do Cade because, that
Too
was
much.
done already.
Too far.
Yeah. Too much. Too soon. And so if you think in terms of a series when you're doing art, excuse me, it helps because you have to put limitations for things to be considered a series. So if you were like, okay, I'm only going to use this color glass and I'm only going to use this subject matter, then what would I be able to do with my skill set within those two limitations? And a lot of times that will help because you'll start having to be creative to actually express yourself in different ways. But you've got these limitations that are going to be like, well, how can I express this with these limitations? So anytime I'm blocked, that's what I always do. I just look for, I limit myself so that I'm not overwhelmed by all the possibilities.
I've asked that question to every fellow friend that's an artist or artist that I've looked up to, and I gotta say, that's the best answer I've ever gotten, man.
Oh,
it's really
thanks.
good. Like I actually got something from that, so that's pretty dope.
Awesome.
I actually got something from that too, and I'm like not even thinking about it. I'm just thinking about it in terms of workflow, and like sometimes I get bogged down with like on a video. It's like, well, I start thinking about all aspects of it, and if I think of it more in terms of like this section I can handle like this, that does make it more clear and not seem so overwhelming, and my ideas are just everywhere, so that's awesome.
No doubt.
Thanks.
No doubt. Genuine answer, bud.
Yeah, for real.
Maverick 045, what was the greatest part of joining Resolute and what was the worst?
Oh, yeah, there hasn't been a worst. Like it's just been nothing but a positive experience.
I don't know.
was the time
You're
he
here
opened
right
this.
now. That's probably pretty bad for you.
Podcast. He's living it right
REZOcast.
now. I was gonna say it was even before he was officially in the clan when he opened up their home to all of us hooligans down in Florida.
Oh no, that was a pleasure. I really had a blast with you
amazing.
guys. Yeah, it's definitely the digital wedgie that is REZOcast. No, I'm kidding.
That's how you get crunch berries.
That's right. Oh man.
Digital wedgies at the thick house.
Oh. Yeah, so no, it's been a super positive experience. The thing that I like so much about it, and when I've ever went to PAX or any event, any Destiny event, Guardian Con, it's always the Resolute guys that I want to hang out with. It's just like regular guys, just really fun to be around. Can drink a lot of booze. That's a prerequisite for people I want to be around. And so like I've always had a blast. And then, joining the clan, it's been nothing but a positive thing. Everybody's like super laid back. There's not, when I tell my friends that don't play games that nerds can be dramatic, they don't believe me. And I'm like, you have no idea. We've got nothing else to do, but be dramatic about like tiny minutia and stuff. So there's none of that though. It's just been a really great experience. So I really appreciate being invited in, and I'm having a blast.
We've loved having you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's our pleasure.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and this next Guardian Con should be great too. We'll get
on Ho's birthday.
It's on my birthday.
Yeah.
I'll have to drag his
Man,
ass
we're gonna
around
cover
this
you in
year.
whipped cream.
It's on my 24th birthday.
He's up in last year with what happened between you and Wilson and Butter. I don't know.
Oh man,
That wasn't me.
That's for
that
the
I was
next
awake
episode
for
of
anyway.
Dongcast.
When is Dongcast episode 2, Lego?
That's not up to me. I don't think.
Now that he's heard about the crunch berries, he's
That's not up.
You
You
had- hey,
gave you free room. It sounded like.
Yeah, no. Here's the deal. Hove had his chance the last 3 weeks.
And I was a very responsible adult and podcast member, and I thought you would be proud of me, and you're going to try to hold it against me. You heathen.
It's just unexpected. You had a chance and you didn't take it.
I had, you know what we should have done? We should have had
You
Mark
even
on
planned.
first, because I had like writer's block. I couldn't think of. That's what it is. I had so
Legit.
many options. I had
You need to
so many.
limit your
Yes,
focus.
that actually might be what it was.
That is.
I had
yeah.
totally
Hope
free
got
reign to
something
talk
from
about
that.
anything I wanted, and I couldn't do it. So next time it'll have to be like, do I want to make Lego angry or uncomfortable? And that'll narrow it down.
This is
right.
the Lego Uncomfortable series of podcasts. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Perfect.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
Here we from Gorniak. He has so many. I don't even know where to start. Well, here's one.
You're gonna have to limit yourself.
He's
Hove.
posing to the same question to Mark. Well, actually, everyone but me and Wilson. The same question he asked at the end of last week's episode.
Oh no.
If you had to get a body tattoo, neck to thigh,
Oh yeah.
what would you get and why? As a recap, Hove said he would get the face of Wilson.
I remember this.
When asked where Wilson's lips would be, I don't remember this wasn't said.
I
he
thought
said-
it though.
When asked where Wilson's lips would be, Hove said the butt, so that he blows raspberries.
That was definitely said, by the way. And
Not
that's
by
how
me,
you got
though.
That's how you got crunch berries.
No, that's how you get. I think that's how you get pink eye.
That too.
And then Azrael Speaks wanted to know why Wilson's ponytail was so short.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just got it.
Right? Right?
I've been
hard to
trying to
think
get
of
it
a full
all afternoon.
body tattoo.
It just now sunk in.
Neck to thigh body tattoo.
Oh boy. I'm just going
I mean,
to
the
cover
first
myself
thing-
in scales.
Scale.
Become
All right,
a-
all right.
Become
Classic.
a
That's
manigator.
Oh wow, yeah.
The final form.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. If I did a chicken, would it be a Lego-sized chicken?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You're right.
So
Can it be
he's
a
got
chicken?
feathers all over himself.
A chicken carrying a thesan.
I would manifest the actual question of 1,000 chicken-sized Legos or
Oh, he's
one
just going to
Lego-sized
cover himself in little chickens, just everywhere.
just 1,000 of them.
Yeah. But they all have to have your face on it too.
That's a lot of needlework.
Having my face 1,000 times on my body sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Right? We got two more.
Okay, I would get an exact replica in cream of my neck to thigh. That's right. Loophole.
Touche.
Except for
Would it-
when I
would
get
it be like-
sunburned, it would be really. I would be like two-toned, I guess.
What's
Have
the
it a little
pop-
bit off so you're almost like a blur. that I do.
What's
So
the
when
pop-
people look at, if you're like at the beach, below, you're like, wait,
you know the style of art that's
Guy's
like the
out of
pop
focus.
comic, kind of like where it's very line heavy,
Oh, yeah.
where you kind of just pop out like doing that
Just the
line art
worst.
like of your muscles
like the
and stuff,
Borderlands
like-
type.
Yeah, cell shaded.
Yeah,
Cell
shaded.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man. Yep.
Beta Asian.
I guess. Well, hold that. That must be mana. Then we got to go back to mana. I guess.
Oh my god.
Beta Asian.
I'd probably do
It's
something
decided.
with, I guess my kids or something like that. I would either do something like that or I would do, I'd probably do like one of those things. I guess I've seen that on like people that have body art. They have like a whole like thing about either kids or something with their family. I'd probably do something like that if I
Like a
had to do
totem.
one.
It's
Yeah,
very
maybe
popular.
something like
Yeah.
that. Like each kid as they were born or something like that. I probably would do that.
Okay.
I don't like
He
it.
went sentimental. We went just
Yeah,
we
just
wilded out.
It was spring break last week.
Gorniak, again, what are the top 2 items on your season 4 bucket list? Although I guess that'd be season 5, right?
well, it
Oh
could
no,
be
season 4. Yeah,
Yeah, the
okay.
season
because that's
Don't
ending.
correct,
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah,
correct
It's over.
the listener.
The listener is
The
always
listener's
right.
always right. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hope just looks so disgusted.
Text me later. What the fuck did you say that, bro?
2 things on mine. Kick Wilson off the podcast and kick Wilson out of the clan.
Oh, gee,
Alright,
man.
Savage.
Wouldn't be the first time.
And
And
then
then be the last.
I'll
so.
add a third one. Kick Wilson out of my life.
Oh,
Man, this is really
jeez.
turned to negative town here.
Motherfucker, when you
Savage.
call when you want that cuddle time, remember that.
You never let me be Little Spoon.
I was going to until now.
Did he say 4 things off of season 4?
Two.
Two on
Okay.
season 4.
two.
Not
Well, I feel
Forgotten and I don't know, just that.
I feel like I crossed both of mine. Like Luna's and Not Forgotten were my 2, and I got them. But if it's like current things I don't have, this isn't necessarily, these aren't season 4 exclusive, but I want to do them within season 4. Is I still haven't done Last Wish yet. So
Me neither. I didn't want to say it. So
Same,
now that you
actually.
did.
I just got Not Forgotten, and that was my goal. And now it's like, okay, well now I need to raid.
Man,
and
carry
then-
me in the raid.
Secondly, also raid related, is I still don't have the all gold shader from one of the other raids. I think it's from Prestige Spire of Stars. It might be
Gross.
Prestige Normal Callus, but I don't know. I haven't done either of those. So yes, I need to do the things to get the shaders because I'm all about the shiny.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like to get Shards of Galinar. I know that's not season 4, and I also don't want to get something that I could actually do hard work and get. Like Luna's Howl would be great, but I know I'm not going to do that hard work, so there's no reason to wish for that. I'm not putting that evil on myself. So yeah, I would like to get Shards of Galinar, and I would also like to get it's the new auto rifle that's supposed to sound like an aircraft carrier gun firing.
Cerebrus or something.
Yeah.
Cerberus?
I would like to give that a shot as well.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Random drops, that's what I want. Random drops. So I can blame Bungie if I don't get it. And
I would like before the season ends a Forsaken exotic drop. That's
Just
my bucket
one.
list.
just
one. Just one, like a hey, thanks for playing. You know what I mean? Like a, you know, I don't even care if it's a crappy one, like a little fun-sized crappy Snickers bar. Like I just want something, you know.
Thanks for playing.
Like a Charms blow pop.
I love blow pops.
I do too.
The sour apple blow pops are like
Get
They
the
were
fuck
the
out,
best.
watermelon.
watermelon's
Sour apple,
second,
come on.
but sour apple's the best. Don't tell me to get the fuck out.
He tells you that.
You just outed me out of your life.
The best. We did talk yesterday. The best candy is the watermelon Sour Patch things, though. You know what I'm talking about?
Those are great.
That are actually shaped like watermelons.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah,
I
well,
heavily disagree.
you're allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
You get one flavor in those packages.
Yeah, the
versus
best flavor.
A ton of flavors in the normal one. No, that's
Someone told
All
me that
those
the normal ones are
flavors,
just
Lego?
different color.
They are.
There's these candies that my grandma always used to get, but I can never find them anywhere.
Werther's
There's
Originals.
There's these little like strawberry things.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
wrapper looks like a
Yes.
strawberry.
yeah, and they're kind of chewy, but they're hard.
No, they're like you first bite into them, like they're kind of hard, so you have to wait a little
Crispy,
bit. Then you
yeah.
bite into them, they're like gooey, like and you're just like, what are these? Why don't
Jim-
stores sell these?
Do you remember the little
Like-
root beer barrels? Do they still make those?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
Root
about
barrels
those.
are awesome.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, he's got him. Mark's got
No
the little
way.
strawberry things. No way. I don't believe
Those
it.
are the root beer barrels.
if
I'm gonna
if
put
that's
those
what he
in for both.
has.
Let's
He
take
looks-
that vote. Root beer barrels
Those
or
are the two
strawberry?
items I won from season 4.
Root beer barrels and strawberries.
Yes. Strawberry hard candies. I don't even know what they're called.
Oh, man, I texted you a picture earlier
my gosh.
Pictures?
Yeah. of my sandwich.
What?
What?
Oh, wait. Here it is. Here's the reveal. What does Mark have?
I can't see.
I can't see it yet.
Wait, I
What's
think
he
he's
gonna
building
do?
for
Killing
dramatic
me.
effect.
I think he might be. Either that or he just went to the bathroom. One or the other.
Oh, we thought he had.
He
Oh, he
does!
does.
Yes!
Everything! What a god!
So I was at a hotel recently, and they put these out like on the pillow or whatever.
way.
Like, swiped.
Yeah, I just took them. Yeah.
I think
I'll
you have
save
to be
'em.
like a certain age to purchase them. There's like a secret society. Like,
No, honestly.
you gotta have like AARP to get them or something.
It is crazy. I thought Mark was gonna come back and be like, "Oh, yo, I get these all the time. I get them from so and so," and he was gonna solve the mystery. But no, he got them from some random hotel,
Yeah.
and he doesn't even know where they come from. So
There's
the
some
mystery is
Illuminati
still
stuff.
alive.
I know. I've seen them in two places: at my grandma's house
Yep.
and at a hotel. It's like they got. Maybe we should start talking to our grandmas and actually ask them a question.
Maybe.
Here's another grandma candy food thing. See if any of you guys know these, because that's the only place I've ever seen these. They're like, I guess they're kind of like mints, but they're almost like chalky. They're kind of like you can chew right through them, but they're kind of chalky and they're
Are they
very
pillow-shaped?
I know
pastel.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
and they're very
They're
they're all
yes,
like
I know what you're
pastel
talking about.
colored.
Wedding mints.
Is that what that
That's
is?
what
Yeah, they're like wedding mints. Yeah.
They're like wedding mints, but I don't
They're not
know
real.
if they were wedding mints.
I don't
No,
know.
I think.
Do you get them at restaurants sometimes? Foil wrapper, and you.
No, the ones
they're
I
like-
always had like
No,
they're real
they're-
small, like they're small,
the
and they were in like a
colored
bowl. Yeah, they were like in their
Yeah.
own.
I know what you're talking about.
They
now.
weren't like
Mhm.
individually wrapped.
They almost look like marshmallows from a distance.
Kinda,
and you pick
yeah.
them up
Yes.
and they're hard. And when after sitting in your mouth
Yeah.
for a little bit, you could just bite right through the suckers.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know what
Usually
you're
it
talking
goes
about.
the other way around.
responsible
Guys.
for these candies.
But wait, is this them? Buttermint creams, assorted pastels.
No way.
Sounds right.
That sounds right. That's bringing
Buttermint.
back.
I think it's them.
Okay,
I'm starting to
somebody.
realize that none of our grandmas ever told us what the candy was. Or
Yeah.
Shadow Hunter just said it in
remember.
chat. Buttermilk mint.
Yes. No, it's buttermint creams is what came up for me.
Buttermint creams.
Don't correct the viewers.
Okay, so if you don't,
Really gotta work on that.
if you don't, or if you have the answer for the mystery of the quest for the strawberry candy, please at us at REZOcast
Yes.
or leave a kind review on REZOcast iTunes and let us know where we can find these strawberry candies.
Or let us know your favorite old person candy.
Well, I mean, as far as look, these other ones were ones I just remember. There is no better old person candy than Werther's Originals, though. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
the-
old person.
There's no better commercial for old people candy than Werther's. But like, dude, sometimes I am not feeling some butterscotch, bro. Like, I want some
Same.
some old people strawberry candy. You know what I'm saying? What do we even call those? Senior
know.
citizen
Suddenly-
strawberries? Like, what are those?
Just
That's what
what
it-
with old people now.
Just
They're
type-
the only
type
people
that
that
in
knows how
Amazon.
to find them, apparently.
I suddenly want them way less.
Maybe it's like like a thing of passage. Like you gotta get to that age, and then you see them at the store. Maybe it's, you know.
They're always there.
Yeah, it's just but you can't find them unless you know.
It's like Diagon Alley.
Yeah, or the,
Old people.
the room of requirement.
Yes.
That's great.
But for real, I want to thank everyone who has left an iTunes review and who did it for the giveaway that we did. I know we're gonna do another soon on Twitter.
What? I'm sorry, I was still reading Twitter questions.
Well, we're getting pretty long here.
I know. Yeah, we'll be doing one for the end of this month, as usual. So yeah, we'll do this one on Twitter. Right?
Yes.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, and so just again, thank you, Blue Microphones and Headphones, for being amazing and supplying us with these awesome giveaway stuff, these headphones and microphones we're using now, and just for being amazing sponsors. Ooh, look, even Mark's got it. And they're just awesome. We love these products, and if you haven't won a giveaway and you still want one, you can use code REZOcast and get a 20% discount on bluemic.com. So go check it out and go check out some of their awesome products.
Also, very importantly, pointed out in chat, you can buy 5 pounds of those strawberry candies on Amazon for $15.
But what are they called?
$15?
What are they called? Like that's
Strawberry candy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Amazon old people strawberry candy right now.
I'm telling you, that's what it's called.
That's just what they're called, strawberry candies.
I think we could make a fortune if we marketed
simple?
the same candy and gave it a name.
Yeah,
That's true.
Hove's Crunch Berries.
Berries, yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that's it. We're so in.
Ooh, we could do a chocolate line called Hove's Dingleberry.
Wow.
Dingleberry was about that close to being one of Mana's words this week.
Oh my god. Oh, yo, I found them on Amazon. Brock's or Bratch's strawberry bonbon.
That also reminds me. No, it's
bonbons.
Brock's, because you remember
Brock's,
when they had Brock's Rocks, the little dinosaur egg candies.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
that was
I
Brock's.
put in old people strawberry, and the search result before I hit enter was strawberry old people candy. Like there's many people who have Amazon this.
Dude, it's a nationwide thing. It's just like no one actually knows where the grandparents get them.
Oh my god, I found a commercial for Brock's Rocks. It had the cartoon dinosaur sitting on the hood of a car, eating candy and handing it out to children.
It doesn't sound right at all.
I'm putting it in chat right now. If you're in chat, you can
the
click on
dinosaur
this.
in tight white gym shorts.
No, he's wearing like a Letterman jacket and sunglasses. He's a badass.
I'm watching it right now.
We are going to be posting these on you can find more about these commercials and where to find this candy at REZOcast on Twitter. If you want to follow us there, and you can also find more about Team Resolute at Team Resolute on Twitter. This has been Lego, aka Legole Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
I like how no matter, we argue over Alpha Asians and everything, but I like that no matter what, I'm always second. You can find me on Twitter.
You just know you egging me on to change it next week. And
I'll walk out. I will just shut down the stream, and then I'll start it back up after the third person. So then it looks like I was second. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at Hove76, twitch.tv/Hove76. I streamed non-podcast stuff yesterday for the first time in a long... Would you zip it over there, Mr. No Cam man? I think I'm going to try to start streaming again, for real. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So,
Ringing endorsement.
You can find me all those places. Wilson, you can fuck off. Man, it's your turn. Go ahead. Where can we find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch at the Manigator. I also just started streaming again recently.
Yo!
And I missed it. I miss playing video games, man. I've been way too busy. And it's been awesome. But yeah, the Manigator, and no, I'm just gonna give up on YouTube. It doesn't exist anymore. Let's just be real.
It exists. Come on.
Triton, how about you?
Yeah, you could find me on all those places as well, all under Triton Please. One word, please being PLZ. And I will get back to Wilson before we do our guest.
Who? Who's
I love Wilson.
done.
Dude, if you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Captain Crunchberry. I'm on there all the time.
You know
Twitter
PSN is coming in with a name change soon.
Do you think
is that going to be?
Do you think I'll
see
be
that
able to
soon,
be
Hove?
just Hove?
Did you check?
Can I be just Lego? Maybe. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
go with no.
No, you definitely can't
Both
just
those.
be Lego.
However, Captain
Lego.
Crunchberries
Yeah.
might be available.
Captain Crunchberries, maybe. You know, I might have to spell it
Yeah,
weird,
but
though.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
also probably, like copyright infringement or trademark.
I'm pretty
problems.
sure I can write Captain Crunchberries wherever the fuck I want and not do anything about it.
There's so much aggressiveness
real, follow
right
me.
now.
At Captain Crunchberries. Comment,
Good
like,
man.
and
Wait, did
subscribe.
Wilson really change his
I'm
thing?
scared to look at
Take
that
a
account.
candy and calm down.
Yeah, you're being a diva again.
Eat a Snickers. You're angry. You're hungry.
Steve Buscemi.
How about you, Mark? Where can we find you at, bud?
At @MarkSquare_ on Twitter and Instagram. And if you're looking for my podcast, at Loot Fancy on Twitter.
Yeah, for real. Go check out Loot Fancy.
Yep.
It's a great podcast. Loved hanging out with you guys.
Thanks for coming on. Had a great time.
Yeah, thank you for coming on episode
For real.
109 of REZOcast. I think that's it for this week. Until next time, guys.
Can I talk about something?
Just had to get one more
GG.
in.
Is that a no?
Jeez.
Kind of mostly a no.
Riri.